All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon. You guys just missed an entire introduction that we did.
It was a dry run.
It was a dry run, still on break.
It's fine.
But welcome to Adventures in Alberon, a homebrewed 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game played in person every Friday at 8:30 p.m. I'm Joe Truff, every day.
Every day.
Your Dungeon Master this evening. I'm joined by Matt, Miles, Allie, and Tina. Super glad to have you guys aboard, folks. It is the new year. We have a lot of cool stuff prepared. So a couple of announcements real quick. It's 2020. The big goal that we have for this year is to promote the game a little bit more. We have social media stuff on Instagram and Twitter. We are at Alberon RPG. Check our stuff out there. I also want to give a shout out to the most recent subscriber, who is Isumiwa. So thank you very much for subscribing. That kind of stuff has helped out a ton. In fact, the people who have subscribed, who have donated bits over the last couple weeks, I haven't had a job, so you guys have made the stream actually go. So thank you so much. I now am employed. So we have a lot of cool, exciting things on the horizon. We also now have a Design by Human store, so you can check that out. It is in our description. If you are on the web client, which is down there, you can scroll down and you can actually buy stuff without even leaving the page. If you are on mobile, it will be coming tomorrow. I believe I'm going to be putting up a link for that. We're going to go live tomorrow with our first official shirt. There is currently an Adventures in Alberon shirt for sale and a Assembled Soul shirt that is for sale, which I actually ordered and is coming in the mail tomorrow.
Fucking words.
But the Finger Gang shirt will be on sale tomorrow. Designed by Miles, drawn up by Frederica Vilova, our campaign artist. It is fantastic. And so definitely check that out. It's on our Instagram. Will be on sale tomorrow. Also, with Dicey Encounters, we have decided that we're going to give something away to celebrate our year of doing a campaign. We've only been streaming for a couple months, but this campaign's gone on for about a year. So one of the things that we are going to be doing is giving away a set of dice, one of Dicey Encounters' set of dice. You can choose what it is from their Instagram, excluding Wizard Spit and Unicorn Barf, which are great names. But aside from those two, anything you want, I personally recommend the Descent to Avernus dice. They are super beautiful. If I could have any set of dice, probably right now, that would be the set I would choose. So think about it. But what we're going to be doing is in 2 weeks, we'll be giving those away to celebrate the year of our campaign. So definitely check that out. We're going to be doing it during the break, a lot like other shows do. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be super cool. And they're, going to be for free for you guys. So definitely stay tuned. Check that out. Aside from that, we have Sirenscape, which is where you're hearing this wonderful jungle music, as well as all the sound effects and music that we have. Aside from the music that you heard during our introduction, which was a little bit longer than usual tonight, and our break, that is our theme song, which was composed for us. So, by 100 Take Wonder on Reddit.
There you go. You got it.
I remembered. So, with that, unless there's any other... one other announcement. So next week, we will not be having a regular Adventures in Alberon. Instead, we're going to be having a one-shot. I think it's going to be a Morrowind background one-shot. Not 100% sure.
I'm missing.
Details will be coming. Probably Michael will be here. We'll have to see who's available.
Maureen wants a mate.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay. We'll talk. We'll talk about what's going to happen next week.
A mate.
Check Instagram and stuff like that for details.
Mateys.
However, with that is our announcements for the evening.
I'm not going to touch that.
And put on a little bit more appropriate music for us to dive into here.
Maureen wants mateys.
Oh, no. All right. So, you guys within the Lorebinder Academy here.
Yeah.
When we last played, Shay,
Yes.
you found yourself face to face with a figure from your past. This mountain elf that you would know. Music real quick here. Actually, let me give. That you would remember somebody that you're very familiar with. Highland. That books got super loud.
They're so loud.
I know.
That's what I was saying last time.
You guys are really reading.
Turn it too loud.
Who you would know. Is responsible for roughly 300 monks' deaths out on a battlefield sometime before the campaign started. You had a conversation. She passed along a little bit of information to you about possibly some kind of upcoming conflict. She said that you weren't ready yet, but when you were to find them upon the giant step. Mormon and Gunter, meanwhile, met Big Sue in the Sly Flourish. Man, you guys had an interesting conversation with her. Heinrich and Shay joining shortly after. Mormon, you had a really good conversation with her in Thieves' Cant, with Gunter and Heinrich unknowingly interjecting a couple of things. But you learned that there was a potential jewelry heist. However, as a group, you decided to travel northward, towards the Lorebinder Academy. You spent your first night out in the wilderness in a snow castle made by Gunter, with accompanying snow finger gang members made by Mormon. You discovered in the morning that Heinrich wasn't sleeping. It was revealed to you, actually, that Heinrich had not slept since the events within Helm's Temple in Port Quinn. With this knowledge, you had Heinrich demonstrate some powers, during which Heinrich completely annihilated Gunter's snow castle.
To be fair, before he could do it himself.
Fair.
It's not like we were trying to keep that there.
That being said, it was an entirely maggot-free experience, so something worth noting for Heinrich. It seems as if Heinrich is progressing along a different path. You guys traveled through the Knoll Hills in near whiteout conditions, your vision limited to 10, 15 feet at times, with the knoll actually approaching within reaching distance of you guys. Being very stealthy despite Gunter's best efforts. Actually, with Gunter casting freedom of movement, Gunter sliding beneath the snow very stealthily, you guys managed to get through without any kind of conflict. You reached the Lorebinder Academy, a huge 3-tiered, regally constructed library of massive proportions. Morn, you played in the trees immediately upon entering. You were met by a half-elf, a little bit chubby and rotund, and with her help, you were able to find a couple of things that you were looking for. Heinrich, you finding some answers about previous figures in her past, as well as current celestial figures of interest. Shay, you learned a little bit about Akrona, the god of the flighted species of this land, one of the primal gods. Gunter, you decided that you were going to ask about knowledge on how one might slay a god.
Just hypothetically.
After lying about being a representative of a fake school of Cord, which does not exist, you were confronted by the Lorebinder Boron, this massive 9.5 feet tall, gray-skinned Goliath, wearing the blue robes of the Lorebinders. Gunter of the Finger Gang. I count myself as fortunate that you and your associates have found your way here.
Oh, good. Yeah, me too.
Word of your deeds in Port Quinn have spread. We could use your assistance.
Oh, well then, maybe we could get ourselves a deal going.
We have something to discuss. But, Gunter, know this. Your reputation...
You can't even keep it.
I can't. I'm good at it,
out of
too.
character.
Jesus Christ. He just, with his mouth, just goes... Gunter, your reputation is both fighter and thief. This is my home. The Lorebinders made me more than I could have ever dreamt to be. If you harm anything here, if you defile the knowledge kept in this place for even a moment,
Defile?
I will keep you alive as I pull each bone out through your body, leaving you whole long enough to scream through the process. Are we understood?
Oh yeah, but I mean, geez, defile? We're talking about deals here. I'm here to help. Look at me.
Wonderful. Kita, if you could get the others. And Kita, this half-elf that you'd seen before, a little chubby, sort of like a, kind of strange looking for a half-elf, looks up and just scurries away into the stacks. Boron turns a little bit Follow me. And he begins to walk in the opposite direction of the desks and the stacks towards that building that you had seen almost erected within the huge 3-story high, stretching into the darkness, tiered library. The sort of locked, more exclusive area.
The restricted section.
The
Looking around to see, like, do I see a sign of any of the gang?
Make a perception check.
They're all gone.
What'd you roll?
4 passive 15.
Nope. Are you walking?
Yeah, I'm like, they're all gone. All right. Ugh, fuck.
Fantastic.
I feel like we would have seen. Actually, no, not either of us.
Not necessarily.
The only one that would have
We're
seen it would be Mormon.
Right. Because we're just
'Cause we're
off in the
still
back reading books.
Reading and
Yeah.
low-key
So Mormon, you
conversing.
would see
Yeah.
a little bit away because you had asked for a little bit of help and you had obtained something that you were looking for, or at least looked. You would see that Gunter is confronted by this massive, bigger even than Thistle, this huge muscle bound. He's wearing these blue robes. His arms like stretch the sleeves out. You can see the chest. It doesn't really fit that well. It's like kind of almost sillily large around the side because he is like a very fit guy, completely bald headed. He's wearing this tiny monocle that like against all physics odds like is somehow perched in his eye. But he is speaking very, very intensely with Gunter. You see the half elf that you had spoken to suddenly kind of take off and looking around, heading off in the direction that you saw Heinrich and Shay going in. And then Gunter and him begin to head off in the same direction.
I take a mental snap of the book that I'm reading.
Okay.
So that I can get it later.
Roll an intelligence check.
Really smart. So
Doop. 6.
Yeah, the book was read.
Wait, can I read the title?
No.
Sick.
Yeah.
All right,
You're
I
not
go
a great
snuck
reader.
and I'm finding and I'm following.
Make a self check.
You're following Gunter?
Yeah, at a distance. I like to eavesdrop on his shadiness.
Take notes, maybe. Right.
Talon, thank you for the bits.
Damn. 16.
Hi, Tom.
Okay. You crouch down,
Not my best.
it is dark. I mean, it's almost 1 a.m. There are people still around because this place seems to function 24 hours a day. I mean, there are people who travel across Dominion, perhaps from beyond, to get to this place. It's a place of knowledge, almost unparalleled in Dominion. As you creep through, you feel fairly hidden. You don't feel as if people are paying attention to you. Meanwhile, as you follow, the two of you, roughly in the same location, within the area where there are religious texts and things about mythology and history. At this point, you guys have been looking probably for close to half an hour, and you hear footsteps approach. It's the half-elf that you guys had met previously, wearing the very simple blue initiate robes of the Lorebinders. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah, sorry. And I just like close the book. Yeah.
We've been called by Lore Master Boron. I didn't realize that we had celebrities amongst us. It's very nice that we have the Finger Gang here. I do have
geez.
questions about that name, but if you could come with me, we have a lot to discuss. Do you know where the Tabaxi is?
I don't. I feel like we got off a little abruptly. Like we just arrived and were ushered inside. What is your name?
Oh, my name is Kita.
Kita.
Yes.
Very nice to meet you. I'm so sorry about the conditions of our
She
arrival.
you can see she has trouble like keeping eye contact. She kind of turns a little bit, like a little bit abashedly.
Well, it's like
She
I
likes
do like
you.
a semi nod of just like, thank you. And I'm Heinrich. This is
Shay.
Shay.
Yes, you introduced yourselves to me about an hour ago.
Oh well,
but
come on, man. I don't remember that. Pretend I didn't do that. All right, moving.
If you
forward.
would follow me, we have a lot to discuss apparently, and I think a lot of it is very pertinent to all of you.
Okay. Where are we headed? Exactly.
We're going to go to the Lore Master's offices.
Okay, that's probably good. And I look over to you, kind of like with the eye of like, yeah, don't forget about like the null and this threat that we haven't told anyone about.
Out of curiosity, how are you doing this? With
It's
your
just kind of like
eyes?
the do we trust her? Do we tell her kind of thing? That look.
Ew,
That's
not
also-
like that. Ew, what are you doing?
that
So-
thing, no.
That's not discreet.
You know what? I can do that better. I say, okay, and we start walking, and I like a few paces back. And I'm just like, do we tell her? Or should we wait and tell someone more in charge? I feel like probably someone more in charge would make more
Let's-
sense.
Wait and see how this plays out.
Okay. I can't imagine this place. I mean, it didn't look like they had any defenses. Magic users, sure, but how many Null we saw?
Just see.
Okay. All right.
As this is happening, this is the part in the film where the screen cuts to Gunter just sitting. And you are in this chair. There's like 3 wooden chairs, all very simple, in front of this ornate wooden desk, which is a large desk, but almost comically small for Lorebinder Boron, who is sitting behind it. The chair is also kind of small for him. And you can see, based on like the patterns in the floor and everything, like the wood itself is like kind of dented in. This is clearly his office. But he sits quietly waiting. And it's probably about 5 minutes of that, unless there's anything that you want to say.
Oh, nice place you got here.
Anything else?
So, got anything I could read while I'm waiting, or what's?
Is there something that you have a preference for?
Yes. You got anything on like?
There's like this,
No game.
and he slides out this
Good during
wooden
a formal situation is just always
drawer,
awkward.
and he pulls out a book on seashells. And hands it to you.
Oh,
Shuts the drawer.
I was thinking something a little more.
It's what I have.
I look around. I mean, a giant.
Yes, however,
Library
this
man?
particular office, very, very Spartan. You're in a stone room, no smaller or no bigger than this. Ceiling's actually a little bit shorter, so he actually cannot stand fully upright in this room.
Oh.
It's like 10 by 10 by 10 kind of.
A little smaller,
Wow.
even. Yeah, it's a very, very small room.
It's a broom closet.
Yes, and so you entered into that closed-in stone-built building, and there's a long stone hallway that branches into a couple of offices like this.
So, you mind if I go?
Yes. It's at about this point that Kita leads the two of you, still having not in any way, as far as you know, aware of your presence. Stopping, I don't know if there's anything you want to do, but you're outside of this door.
Are they passing me?
They would be coming out right to about where you are now, unless you wanted to go in before them.
Yeah.
Okay. With a 16 stealth, you walk through the door without issue. As far as you can tell, no eyes see you go through. Shut the door quietly behind you. You can see you're in a long stone hallway. There are 3 different hallways that branch out from it. You can see there's a double door on the end. You hear, after a moment of just kind of waiting, Gunter kind of awkwardly clear his voice somewhere off to the left.
I'm gonna go eavesdrop.
Okay. So you hear that whole conversation.
Wait, you know what?
You don't hear that whole conversation.
How many doors are there?
Maybe you hear that conversation.
No,
Going-
so I know where he is, but I want to see
rough
if there's
idea.
other voices that I can hear.
Make a perception check.
I want to eavesdrop everything. Passive 14.
Okay. You listen for a little bit and
Help!
you don't hear much. You hear Gunter ask
seashells.
about something to read. You remember it is about 1 a.m. So in terms of like the functioning offices of this place, probably not a lot of people there.
Yeah, you probably
Alright, I'll
already knew,
eavesdrop
but
at their door then if I don't hear anything obviously going on.
some of sand is seashells.
You guys approach. Kita leading the way. She opens the door, but you would hear. If you're outside of that door, you're around the corner and to the left. Please, right this way.
I scamper over to the right. Like, is there like an across the hall?
Yes.
Yeah, I do that.
Are you trying for them to not see you?
Yeah.
Make another stealth check.
Is there a do?
17.
Okay.
I mean,
Shay,
I don't.
You, as the door is held open and Kita gestures in, you see there's the edge of the tail into the other hallway. You are aware that Mormon is in the hallway to the right. However, do you guys enter?
I mean, I would because I have no idea what else is going on.
Okay. As
Though I think I'm going to stay closer to the door.
Okay. As she kind of closes the door behind you, there is this kind of look that she gives you and shuts the door. You guys now are outside this room, the only room that she had kind of like led you to.
Mm-hmm.
There is a little bit of light coming under the door. You hear a page turn.
I just go up and knock on the door.
Gunter, you hear a knock.
Ah,
And Boron turns. You hear it as well across the hall. Come in.
I do.
You open the door.
hi there.
I push the door open.
It swings inwards.
When he pushes the door open, I bolt through to get there first.
Okay. There's a streak of black and red as it flashes right by you. And more when you
should have
emerge
seen that
right
coming.
behind Gunter, there are 2 chairs still empty.
Oh, hey guys.
I take the
I guess
comfiest
so.
looking one.
Hey, did you know that seashells provide habitation as well as benefits to nature all around the world?
Yes.
Gunter, that
okay.
will be quite enough.
Yeah.
You want your book back?
Thank you. Opens the drawer, puts it away, slides it back in.
I see you've been busy.
Puginator,
here.
welcome to the game. So, Finger Gang. That is what you call yourselves, yes.
Or is what we were called, but both, I suppose.
News of what you have done in Port Quinn has spread. We need help. What do you know about events that have transpired over the last several weeks?
Nothing.
Make a deception check.
I was about to cut in and just be like, well, if it's anything,
10.
Okay.
well, if it's anything to do with the knoll that are right outside your door, seems like a war party.
The Knolls have been within those hills for a long time.
But that
Like
many?
that-
That organized?
How many?
A
Well,
lot.
I don't.
Probably
We would
like
estimate 50.
500?
Well, I think I made the mental count,
5,500?
so I'll say.
5,500 about?
Make a deception check.
It was 15.
It was 5,500.
The ones that we saw, but we heard the drums and we heard more.
It was
That's-
closer to 50.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said
was the-
15.
yeah.
It was closer to 50.
I'd say take about 500 off 50, but they seemed organized,
50.
which is
50, I said 50.
For all of you, I will make this very simple. We are in, as a country, as a world, in grave danger.
well. If you're talking about that, then I think I know what you're talking about.
All of you are in some way more than your normal person. Tales of what you have done have reached here, not just from here, but we'll get to that in a moment. There's a new star. I don't know how much you are all privy to kind of astrological pursuits.
Well, there was one more, but and I'll trail off. I'm not going to mention Bernal yet. No, wait to hear what this dude says.
The world is changing. Over the last 2 weeks, we have endeavored to understand what is happening. Much knowledge has been lost through the ages, from the Draconian Purge or the slow death of the dwarves to the north. The Gnastariel was lost over a millennium ago, and so we pieced together what we could. It appears that long ago, before the blood and the brimstone of the First Age, there was one god named Aurelian. He is who Acrona and Octus, Cyric, Mistra, and Cord call father. When his star appears in the sky, it signals the end of an age, and the arrival of the next line of life to see if it is ready to replace the last. His star is upon us, and as such, life that has slept for 2 centuries has begun to stir. The shards of his star, which we believe have fallen, will corrupt beings, forcing them to unlock these pillars. These 5 pillars of life. Massive, glowing, crystalline structures that radiate a power that will raise previous incarnations of organisms created by Aurelian. It is a trial of fire for the newest to descend to Alberon. We know that the Pillar of Scales has been activated. For dragons, drakes, lizard folk, and other reptilian creatures that have not been seen or sighted have approached in numbers unheard of in our times. If 3 of these pillars are unlocked, this new creation will appear.
New? What do you mean?
You know that there are 3 ages.
Yeah.
This is the age of civility.
Mm.
Dwarves, humans, tabaxi, elves. We are the civilized species. Before us, there was dragons, and before that, there was
Giants?
giants. Sorry.
It's fine.
Yeah. Double check.
It's alright.
Whatever new form of life there is, if it follows the patterns that we've seen, will become the new dominant thing. I would not like that.
I don't think any of us would.
We must find the shards and destroy them.
Oh. Wait. Do they come in brick form?
As far as I know, no.
Okay.
But we have not seen one. We do know where there is one of these shards. At least we have some idea.
Would it...
So you're gonna send us there, huh?
The thing that Twee had, that certainly seems
That was
like
an
it
ass.
Pull it out
fits
of your
the
pack.
description.
Pull it out of your
Well,
pack.
that's not the same, but I mean, I would then produce the brick at least, but hold it first, and then before doing that, well, in Port Quinn there was a cleric, I suppose, or was he a gnome? Was he
He was an
He was a
asshole.
gnome. He was and an asshole. Yes, he was an asshole. He
He's the guy
paraded
who did
around.
that.
He paraded around. No, that's Bernal.
I thought we were talking about Bernal.
No, we're talking about Twee.
Oh, he was another asshole.
He paraded around my hometown trying to help and aid those who. Well, I'm sure you're
He was a
familiar
cleric.
with.
Yes, we are
You
familiar
know
with
who Twee Lightfoot. So in the tunnels beneath Port Quinn, there was a shard of some crystal that he had, and he was using to do his resurrections and weird things. I guess I don't even know how to describe them, but
Resurrection would make sense. This is a crystal from the Star of Life.
right.
It has many strange and unique properties. Know, before going any further into this, these shards will corrupt beings that approach them. The whole purpose of them is to force these pillars open.
Right. And would you say, have you or any of your compatriots ever experienced one in person?
No. But we do know where there is one.
Did we destroy the one down there? Did we do anything with it?
I think Bernal had that one.
Oh,
Was that the one that tried to bat around on the ship?
oh God, if only I remembered. Anywho,
You guys notice
apologies.
that there is a moment where he kind of like cranes his neck out and sort of peers towards the door.
Are you expecting someone?
No, but be aware. There are members of this organization who would use this or see this as an attempt to broker power. Even in this time, even when everything crumbles around us, they would use this as a way of securing more access to these libraries.
Okay.
Be careful who you trust.
Well, that's hard to do for even ourselves. Well,
So,
so if Bernal had it, that makes sense then,
you all
right?
have proven that you can be, well, based on everything that we've heard, heroic, maybe not the word, but you are capable, all of you. We need help, and I propose some kind of deal. You need access to the library.
Okay.
I can get you that access.
Okay.
I can provide a reach into this library beyond what you might be able to obtain yourself, even in your impressive lifetime.
287.
Dwarves live a long time.
You'll probably live long too. They feed you well here.
He just sort of looks around at all of you.
What are you calling him, a growing boy?
I'm a Goliath.
Yeah, you're huge.
Okay.
This
is
you
where
live
this is
here
going
your
to
whole
go.
life. You could use some sunlight though.
What is it that you
Our
would
skin
ask?
is naturally gray.
What is it that you would ask of us before
He's
we?
got a skin condition.
You should rub some dirt on it.
So unfortunate news. You may have heard of a mass departure from Koltaram.
Mm-hmm.
The reasons. Do any of you know about dragons?
Oh yeah.
Make a deception check? Or, I guess.
Aside from having
20.
Okay.
I know it.
tales and stuff, but
I've heard the
Not that I
stories.
was wrong.
brief sight of them leaving where we last were. The
I don't know
newly
shit about
awoken ones.
Deep within Koltaram, beneath the mountains, beneath the mines. Long ago, there was a dragon chained there by giants. During the Second Age. This dragon was named Keenscale, the Purple Terror. Something that, until recently, we believed was only myth. The thing driving out the dwarves was this very dragon. Limited in her powers until recently. With the Skiller
Skiller
with
repels.
Skiller repels. With the Pillar of Scales becoming unlocked, her full power has been achieved. She has taken the city. She has subjugated the dwarves within. There are pockets of resistance. It is, for all intents and purposes, almost an active war zone there. There are pockets of the Stone Guard that are still holding out. There's a group of tieflings, actually, refugees from Dominion, looking for some kind of a new life. They have holed up there.
In the mountain.
Within Koltaram city itself, yes. Koltaram is this dwarven city. I don't know how much you know about it, but it is...
I'd assume it was all underground. Pardon the...
well, Mount Taram, the entirety of it has been hollowed out, and so it forms this massive
Built
vertical
into the mountain.
city.
I expect better from you.
Well, I've never been. Sorry. I suppose I could learn while I'm here more about that.
Of course. This would be the place to learn.
Sure.
The dwarves who remain, who have not been able to flee, they have been subjugated by Keenscale and her brood. She uses She uses her ability to influence dreams, to control different things through nightmares and mental domination.
What was her name?
Keenscale,
Keenscale. Okay.
the Purple Terror, the Nightmare of Tooth and Wing. Know that as you progress north from here, the Academy won't be able to protect you. You will experience these dreams.
Good thing I don't sleep.
We believe that Keenscale has one of these shards. That is what originally woke her. That is what has given her the power to do what she has done in such a short time.
That makes sense.
You need not slay this beast, although, to be honest, I imagine obtaining the scale otherwise would be difficult. But we need to destroy that shard.
I'm trying to remember actively as I'm also doing this right now, but
Sure.
there was that prophecy that I wrote down, and I just found it. It's very long, so if you want me to read it, I could then do that.
But what are you asking?
Well, I'd say it. Well, first things first. How can we trust you, I suppose? You say be careful who you trust. You're bringing us this information. At least give us something, I don't know, some form of trust that we can take. Because we do have more that we've experienced than just Port Quinn, I suppose.
Yes, you do. There has been word that's come from the Sunrest Islands that paints you in a rather negative light.
Yeah. No,
Oh, it's probably
I'm not going to
someone
deny
else.
that one.
So let me speak
myself, at
a
least
little
personally.
bit to what I can do for you and what you should trust in me, although perhaps trust is the wrong word. One of the things that you will need is more political capital than Port Quinn.
Sure. I mean, even I know coming from there, it's not that high on the rankings of Dominion.
You have run afoul of a very powerful organization. Two, in fact.
Yeah. Our ship.
Very technically, actually more than two. But two that he's aware of.
Yeah, I mean,
Like a
we gotta
drop
cut
in the
that shit
bucket
out.
for good.
We
He
gotta,
looks like
I'm
one,
looking at both of you when I say we gotta cut that shit out.
He looks
Sorry.
at each of you in turn. You, as a group, do not blend in well. And so if you
And I just
continue,
kinda-
if you continue to move in this way, you will need a better reputation. I would personally suggest rebranding. The Finger Gang is a terrible name. But
It was kind of granted, you know. No one grants titles to themselves.
okay. But you need something to convince people, or you will, that you are not bad.
Well,
You
it sounds
most
like
of all.
this Kulturam thing would be good to start on. Yeah, I know.
I
I
don't
have
think you're
that.
bad.
I have to go do that. I gotta go do that.
There is
later.
more.
I'm gonna have my own thing later.
As an organization, we are not designed to make great amounts of money. But we can pay you. Further, we can give you access to the trunk library upon completion.
Knowledge is payment.
And my jaw drops as I turn and look at him.
Very well. I believe also, if you are able to slay this dragon, you will be treated as heroes. You will be,
Slay a dragon.
Can we just get rid of it? I feel bad killing it.
do what you will. We just need to destroy the shard. Kulturam is something that we can perhaps figure out afterwards. I do know that Dungannon has said that they were going to provide aid. There has been developments to the west. I don't know how much they will be able to provide now.
What's his name one more time?
Boron.
Boron.
Yeah.
Master Boron, if I may,
Lord Binder Boron.
Lord Binder Boron, if I may. May we use you as a contact foreseeable future kind of stance? Because I do have a few more. I have a thought. You said there are multiple shards, and there's some information that I think you might find very helpful for this as a potential, I don't know, command center.
Is this an
Can't think of it.
uncomfortable way of asking if you can be my friend?
No, not friends so much as
He's not good with people.
confidant. Not lately, no, you're right. But you know what? I'm just going to tell you. There was a prophecy that we heard while we were in the tomb of one Verawaith right outside of Port Quinn.
Vera Waith.
Yes.
Okay.
Your description specifically calls to the second stanza? What's that part?
Sure.
Yeah, second phrase in the prophecy, specifically that the whole thing seemed to refer to a blue star, that
Aurelian Star is blue.
not from our skies, or maybe
Coincidence?
not currently from our skies at the time of the writing of this prophecy.
It does not normally belong within our skies.
Right, as you have said. The ending of the first saying that, if it gains purchase on the land, Alberon is done. But the second place where one of these teeth could be found, I'm assuming shards based on the shape and how prophecies tend to be illustrative of
Sure.
this type of
Continue.
nature.
This is very interesting.
Okay. The second phrase was, the second resides in a purple maw, and this is all from memory, so I'm sorry if I'm a little... Just kidding, I'm reading. The second resides in a purple maw where I smell brimstone and gore that's raw. As her brood claws for the light, the dwarves of Koltaram take flight.
That
is pretty much on the nose of what you just described to us. Purple Maw being the thing
Yes.
that made me the most
I would
confused
say
about
on the
that.
snout, personally.
True. On the muzzle, on the snout, on the nose, yes. Any of that. There's more to it, which might lead us to potentially finding
it's like
all
a
of the
clue.
others. All of the others
if you
in
would
this
pass
would
that
be...
on to us, we can use some of our resources
Yes,
to.
if you would keep us exclusively at first in the loop on any findings, just if we are to be the people to help you and the trust and all of these things.
Roll a persuasion
Got a
check.
way that we could make them do that.
Do you want to tap me for guidance while you're leading in?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well done.
don't want
Well
to
done. No, good,
call
good,
that
good,
out
good,
there,
good.
but well, thanks for giving me the guidance. That helped a lot.
It's assumed at this point.
Oh, for sure. You still got to say it though. Persuasion, 19.
Okay.
19? No, wait, hold on. Sorry. 18.
Are there people that you do not wish to know about this?
Well, if we're as infamous as we apparently are, we probably don't know the people who know about us because we've been not attempting to.
I understand your meaning.
You know
wish
what I'm saying.
for your involvement to be kept discreet.
Correct.
Yes.
But also informed,
Yes, that
As-
is something that I can do. For
as I am about to pass this on to you. If
I also fear public knowledge of
It's like
this.
a little, you know,
Right.
you scratch our back, we scratch yours.
Right.
There
And as
is
we
a
all
reason
know,
that
as-
we are having this conversation here.
right.
This is not knowledge that we believe the public needs to be privy to, at least not yet.
Right.
There is enough going on.
We don't need more panic.
We
and
don't
there is
need
plenty.
more Bernals.
That's true.
Bernal was an asshole. We don't want more Bernal.
Did you know Bernal? His dress was a little
He was-
similar to.
He was that.
His garb is a little
This
similar
is
to
a
your.
robe.
He looks like this. Ta-da!
I said garb. I changed
So,
the word. Oh shit!
What are you making
yes.
it look like?
Bernal's
Bernal.
Okay.
thing. His face.
So, you watch.
You can totally do that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
You watch as all of a
Wait,
sudden
that's so
the
useful
front,
in the most disgusting way possible.
the front of this very, very simple.
Have you seen this man?
Let him go. You're a walking milk carton.
The front of your armor, the studs suddenly turn and almost condense into two large metal orbs that suddenly take on a blue cast and become eyes. You see the brown hair and the middle-aged face of Bernal. Bernal Osarius, the wizard that you guys had befriended, come into the employ of, ditched, and then briefly fought.
And then he became corrupt.
And then something happened to him.
I wanna punch you right now and that. But
When you last saw him, he was in the process of cutting Thistle's head and hands off. Yes. Beyond even that, while you are here, we can keep you out of the public eye. As a favor, I am sure that there will be a reward for you that would be very easy for us to collect.
Well, sure. I mean, if you know all of the people after us, just
If
leaving
you
it off
need
there.
to know how you can trust us, it is because you will continue to draw breath while you are here.
Can I
I-
ask a question?
Can I incite that actually? I mean, I
an
know
insight check.
he's telling the
You
truth,
can. I mean,
but I
you
just
can,
want to
you can just say, "Do I trust him?"
do it. Yeah, I want to know
Yeah,
for
make an
sure.
insight check.
I mean, that's plenty. It's 23.
Okay.
Oh well, fuck me. All right, good thing I checked.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh no! Wait, let me turn my mic off.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I trust this guy either.
I feel like they're talking shit about us.
Might be. Entirely possible.
Okay, noted. You see me. You see my eyes kind of do like a.
I'm gonna like.
Make an insight check.
Oh, you're gonna incite my. So you're gonna get a diluted version of what Joe just told me. Wait, let's play telephone. I'm gonna tell him what you told.
That's 22.
Shit, that's the worst. If there was ever a D&D summer camp, instead of a game called Telephone, they would just be called Insight Check, where you whisper and keep.
I love that idea.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, shit, guys. Let's talk amongst us. Let me turn Matt's mic off.
Make sure yours is back on.
Wait, what the? Oh, damn Damn it! I
Yeah.
want to eavesdrop now.
I mean,
Damn it.
sorry, you can't.
It's not eavesdropping. It's
It'd be
Yes.
interesting if what he's telling him is
Conversation.
different than what he's telling me, but don't worry, I'll probably, tell you all the same stuff.
I mean, I'd
It's
hope
just
so.
while we're not in the
I kind of
room.
already suspected that from him.
Okay.
He seems a little.
Sorry, viewers, but also like, ooh, suspense.
Alright, I just got a
like-
question.
Yes.
How do we destroy the shard?
We have
That's a
never
very good
come
question.
across one, so we do not know. Given what we do know about it, some magical means probably. We will continue to search, and we will give you a way. We can send you a message if we need to. If
Okay.
we find anything else.
I cast message in his head, say like this,
He looks a little bit off-put by it,
and
but out loud says yes, like that. And in
Wonderful.
your mind, you also hear yes, like that.
Okay.
Because he doesn't... He's seen this spell before. He still doesn't quite know how it works.
sure.
He's not a magic user.
Aha,
You get the
noted.
sense.
Noted. That was the test, actually, because if he spoke back, then yeah.
I don't know this, so I just find this. I feel like you're just like.
I just looked at him and he said yes like that.
Yeah.
You're just giving him eyes.
He just said yeah like that, and you're like, that's awkward.
Well, I'm gonna do it too. I'm gonna be like this.
Are you okay?
And I just look at you. I'm like, no. I cast it again. I'm like, no, Morin. I spoke directly.
Feels like I'm only getting part of this entire conversation. But
Don't worry about it. Answer her question. I have more to say.
I'm sorry. What was your question?
Shard.
How to kill
Yes.
it, destroy, whatever.
Some kind of magical means, I would imagine. We can let you know if we find more, or you're welcome to look. However, we have put a considerable amount of resources into looking for this already.
So what is it made out of? Star?
Crystal.
Crystal?
Yes.
I'm still holding
What-
this
so what-
wrapped brick, by
What
the
like
way.
already like magical properties do you
I'm,
know
like,
about
looking
it?
at
So
you
we
now
can
being
think
like,
of
I
how
don't know
what
for
kind of spells to use against it.
The only thing that
Ask
we
as a
know...
non-magic user.
Sure.
What-
The only thing
no
that we
one
do
else
know
does.
about it is it can influence individuals' minds. It can make
Uh-oh.
you think and feel different things.
Who else touched it when we were in Twee's thing? Twee's a dungeon.
I think I tried to, but I don't think I did.
Okay.
Did I touch it? I don't think I touched it.
You did not
Did you?
know.
No, you
None of you,
totally- you
none of you
did?
touched it. Or you might have touched
I
it.
would
No,
then-
no, that's right. You did
I'm
touch
trying.
it. You touched
Well,
it
this
twice.
is like above because I'm trying to remember that actually, and you touched it, and I'd be like, so you're aware of that feeling?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's not. Later. Okay. The next thing, I suppose.
Would you like to hear a plan?
Yeah. Of like maybe where to find more information on how to destroy it. If we're heading off from here, possibly, to go deal with it, and you know of any even source of information you haven't found yet to destroy them.
Let's see if he does it. Perhaps within Kulturam, it is older than the Lorebinder Academy. There may be some tales of this. Keenscale was kept beneath Kulturam.
So we have to seduce the dragon.
Do you say that out loud?
No, I don't.
Ah, I was about to be like, I got it.
My first rodeo.
I know, but
I changed it to donkey. No, I'm just kidding.
As far as I know, Jesus. As far as I know, there is one living dragon slayer that I am aware of in Dominion.
describe them.
They keep themselves
Please.
very well hidden. They are in Nocturne. They go by the Gazelle. Seek them out, and perhaps they could help you. Outside of that, if you needed more information, it would be hard to imagine that there's anything that we've missed here.
Okay. What does this gazelle look like?
As as far as you can tell, as far as we can tell, he is either a human or an elf. Tall, sandy hair, must be old. We actually believe that it could in fact be
Would maybe
a title that is passed from one person to another. Because there is almost no way that it could be one person.
Wait, have you seen them?
No. As far as I know, nobody has seen them.
I was gonna try to ta-da and do like a crime scene sketch of the suspect and be like, well, so which aspects should
It doesn't quite work like that.
Like fucking the beginning of Super Mario 64 when you're stretching his face around.
Not quite like that. Glamored leather armor is pretty cool, but it's not that cool.
Okay.
However, so in terms of a plan, we have put some thought into how this might be affected.
You say we. Is there anyone else that we could call into this meeting, possibly? Or
Yeah,
maybe
who's your boss?
My boss, not
Wow.
somebody that we'd want to call in, but Kita is aware of our plans.
Kita as well.
The halfling, or the half elf that you met.
Correct.
She doesn't know all the details, but she knows enough that we are looking for something. She has helped with the research. I would say if you are going to trust somebody, she is the person that you could trust.
Because you
Along
trust
with
him.
you.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
Are there
Understand.
Are you
Dwarf.
like trying to make an intimidation kind of?
Understand, Dwarf. I would rather have the truth nailed to my corpse than have a lie live on my lips. Make an insight check.
Seven.
I'm also scrutinizing, just to be fair. Like
an insight check.
since the first one, it's been that.
Seems honest.
It's not as high as his.
Okay.
Are there those that we should deliberately avoid?
Yes, anyone to be wary of while we're here.
Anybody within the academy, though well-meaning, has something to gain by making this not happen. There are those that will view this as a distraction designed to pull power from them, or who will want to resolve this with their own gains in mind.
Like you.
I would like to survive.
Doesn't everyone?
You may have noticed, and as he sort of stretches, you can hear the fabric like stretching on his arms.
There we go.
Unlike the other lore binders, I am not a magic user. I have little to gain from reading most of these tomes, aside from my own self-enlightenment.
Okay.
So,
All right, tough guy.
If there are other people that you can trust, they would be people visiting, not the people who work here.
might I pull my compatriots aside for a brief moment? I just want to ask a question in full confidence of those that I trust completely.
Yeah, group huddle.
You are not kept here.
No, that's totally fine. It's more, I mean, obviously you don't even have walls, but
Kind of gestures towards the door. And
it
If
is
you-
more that we may have, do we want to just sleep on it? Are you guys tired?
it's probably about 1:30 in the morning at this point.
We just hustled through the snow, yes.
I think I'm still feeling pretty good.
Because what I'm thinking is, are you easy to find? I didn't mean.
He looks
No, I
down.
didn't mean.
That is massive. frame.
More, are you readily available if we would like a private council such as this maybe tomorrow?
I was thinking about pruning my head. No, this is the end of the world. This is the only thing that I am focused on.
Is that
Okay,
nothing
good.
else to do?
We will find you tomorrow morning.
Is it
Because
like it
my
goes
compatriots
outside?
and I need rest, and I'm totally not just giving on to the fact that I don't sleep, because that's pretty good shit to keep secret.
It is late.
We were told that we would have to pay to stay here. Do you think that might be...
Make a persuasion check.
Taking learning lessons from
So
you.
real quick before you roll,
Uh-huh.
if you are casting guidance, that is people. It's not just like a little tap. There's like a verbal component to it. You can see it cast.
Good thinking there.
Okay.
He does this a lot. I don't think he even knows how to control that shine that he puts on
I
people.
can't control, Good job for you too.
Okay.
And you guidance him? Are you kidding
Sort
me?
of
Holy
like-
shit! So do I just
a little
lose
bit.
guidance?
No, you still have it. I didn't
Kind
guide
of
you,
touches
sir.
his arm.
I just touched him.
Very well. Yeah, go ahead. Roll
Okay,
guidance.
sick. Hell yeah! I mean, that's gonna surpass anything. What was it? Deception?
Persuasion.
Persuasion.
Damn it, deception's my best one for some reason. I don't know why.
That's
Oh,
the
well.
old you.
That's the old me. Persuasion.
Yeah.
Persuasion. That is a 26.
Do not worry about
Like
the cost of
Puppy
rooms.
dog eyes.
Wonderful.
And he pulls out the drawer again, takes out a little thing, and you can see he takes out this quill, which is comically small in his hand, and very carefully adjusting his monocle,
Gunter.
pens out a little letter, scrolls it up or rolls it up after blowing on the ink, and hands it to you. That is a letter simply stating that you are to be given free room and board. The rooms are not comfortable, or not uncomfortable, but they're not.
Don't worry.
I want to take it and
We've had worse.
take a look at it.
It is just a
I suppose I
letter.
have no idea why I would, yeah.
It is just a letter that says that the four of you are to be given.
I memorize his handwriting.
Okay, make an intelligence check.
Just right in front of him, you have all night to do that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, just like quick glance.
You're like, hold
Before
on,
bed.
stop talking. I need to memorize your handwriting.
I think I have an ability to just.
Is there
glance
anything
me.
else that you require?
Immediately,
Not
I don't
require, but a
believe so.
request. Can
Yep.
I look through your monocle?
Make a persuasion
Can I
check.
look through your monocle?
I want to see how blind he is.
Do it.
What am I making? Persuasion?
Yep.
Alright, so that's a 13.
Yeah, I think I have the same thing.
He takes it off and hands it to you.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's
How
just
big
a
is it
little-
compared?
I mean, it's normal size for you. Like a little nearsighted, maybe. It's like a very, very slight telescopic effect, but not especially so. It still looks the same. It's just a little piece of glass and a ring of metal.
Thank you. Very nice.
It helps me see. And he puts it back into place. Is that all?
So you gotta.
Don't
Oh,
have
we have
any.
to-
Right. Well.
I wasn't
we
planning
come
on
back
sleeping
and then we
here.
get to look at the books. What?
Well, Kita
What?
pointed out where the.
Your time is yours. You can do what you wish
You were gonna get me in the good stuff.
once you have completed this task.
May I also request
Let me get
Little
that seashell
bedtime
book back
snack.
then. Something to read tonight.
Make a persuasion check.
For food?
natural 20?
Oh, well, shit.
Give me back the seashell book.
You are disarmingly endearing.
Thank you. I purr really loud.
Could I see that piece of paper, please? Whoever
I
has the-
would take it back and then hand it to you, because I'll be holding on to
unrolls
that.
it. You add something to the bottom. Scrolls it back up.
And I read it.
And it says that you are to be granted a meal for both dinner and breakfast.
Wonderful.
You should be well taken care of.
Yay, thank you.
Is there anything else?
Give me back the seashell book. I need something to read tonight. Help me sleep.
We are literally in the largest library on the continent, if not the world.
You could probably find something better.
If you want the seashell
No,
book,
it's fine. It's fine. I already
Out of all
learned
the
about
things.
it's seashells.
you had just
Great.
mentioned it wasn't that good, and so I imagined perhaps
You heard that?
of the nearly 1.5 million other tomes that we have.
To be
perhaps there
fair,
was something
usually the
else.
most mundane, boring, and base tone books are the ones that put you to sleep. So
That's what I was thinking. Is it's a really boring book and it would help me fall asleep.
I use it to prop my door open.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Well,
the right size.
I don't want to. Yeah, fine. I'll go find another book.
I will be here tomorrow. Please come and find me. I will search for you, if only because this is of great import. There are no stores within these grounds, but if you do require something, there is an odd creature that lives in that very ugly looking building that you see when you first enter.
that's the one like right outside the gate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he talking about Big Sue?
No.
No, just kidding.
That's mean.
It calls itself, hang on one sec actually.
Hey, you did this to yourself, man.
He calls himself the Cryptid.
Encrypted. Okay.
Ew.
The things that he sells are of his own design.
Okay.
Some are useful, some less so.
I'm assuming he sells them all with the same effort.
No.
Oh.
This creature has been here for longer than the Lorebinder Academy has.
What kind of creature is it? A crippig?
I don't know what that is. That sounds made
A
up.
ribbit?
No,
A
they're
cryptid.
He calls himself the Cryptid,
That's
which
what I
means
said.
a creature that is unknown.
But you
It
know
is
him.
some kind of an infernal creature.
No, it's a crippig.
We cannot remove it.
You know about
It will
it?
not leave.
Is it blue and leathery and has wings?
Nobody has seen it. It does have tentacles.
Okay, never mind then.
It is not a malevolent presence, and it would cause more harm to move it than it is worth. It has been here for at least 700 years.
Okay,
Older than you.
that's a first.
All that we know about it is apparently it owes things money,
Don't we?
and that is why it is here selling things.
Got it.
It's abrasive. It looks at Gunter.
Shit. Well, can't wait.
Well, let's go talk to this crippig.
After,
In the morning.
You guys,
Oh, yeah, that's pretty
we
late.
need our sleep.
All right.
Not here. Let's
His chair
Chairs are
scrapes
pretty-
back.
So I
as he
kind of stand
stands
up and I do like a little bit of a nod, I
And
suppose.
He stands up, and at first you imagine he's doing a nod, but
But
you
he
realize
just can't stand
He
up.
can't stand in this room, so he's kind of hunched over a little bit. But he walks past. One of the things you do notice now, you could hear his footsteps out in the library because there's the wood, and you could hear the creak. As he steps on the stones, he's very soft. The way that he steps is just almost silent.
He's doing the toe heel.
I mean, he's a really big guy who's probably lived this way his whole life, and so he, doesn't just stomp around. He's very mindful about this. There is something very weird about him in terms of, there is a juxtaposition in the way that he looks and the way that he speaks, for sure. That being said, you guys leaving?
Yeah, well, I'm changing my thing to not be Bernal anymore and go to
The armor
normal
goes back to
attire.
normal. Sure.
As the rest of them walk out, I do have one. Call it a burning question, if you will. I am of the Zinyi. Have there been others of my order that have stopped by recently?
You would need to ask Kita that. That's not really my job.
Just out of curiosity.
Of course. I will look into it. When we talk tomorrow, I can let you know.
Wonderful.
So you guys
Out the door.
take off. You walk out this stone building and into the open stacks of the library proper. There's still people there milling about, doing different kind of academic things. What do you guys want to do?
Dinner.
Wanna grab a book and go get to sleep. It's like 2 a.m. now, right?
Just like first book on the shelf?
I see him going for like, are you sure there's no like checkout policy here?
He said get it what you want, right?
Well, do I see any sort of like people working?
You
the
remember there's
desk?
like a big desk up in
Yeah.
the front, yeah?
I go down and
I'm gonna
looking
stick with
for-
Gunter and make sure he checks out a book instead of walks out with it. We don't need any more
I'm looking
enemies.
for anything relevant to my stated goals.
Okay, make a investigation check.
Oh, I would like to check something out too.
You know what? Screw it, me too.
Okay.
6. 6.
You find... So there's a very interesting game that's played in the south of Dominion called Scrod. And you find a book called Playing Scrod.
Okay.
And it has a lot of different strategies about how to play this tile-based game. It has some illustrations. Outside of that, nothing really about slaying gods.
I guess I'm learning how to play
Morwen, what are
Scrub
you...
tonight.
Fair enough. What are you looking for? Okay. Heinrich,
It's just
what
the
were
one
you looking
fold,
for?
not the whole page.
Make an investigation check.
I need to get smart.
So I'm gonna go. How far away is it the place that Shay and I were earlier? How
The
far
building?
back is it? No, like the section
Oh,
where
the
we
section.
were finding like the deity based
Like a
stuff.
10-minute walk down, so you have to go down through the stacks.
Mhm.
There's like this L shape of bookcases that then kind of spirals up to a slightly raised
Oh shit,
area.
that's far.
And then in that area, there's like that spiral is just all religious and mythological texts.
Okay. Are you gonna be looking for a book too, Shay?
I have things that
I'm
I
gonna
need.
ask for my book.
Okay.
But
Are you
Like,
like
I'm a hush
walking
hush.
off?
Not
I'm
yet. That's why
embarrassed.
Okay.
I'm asking
We'll get
you
back to
before
that
I
in a
walk
second.
off.
How are you feeling?
There's,
Tired?
yes, I am very tired. No, I'm not tired at all. But just some reading, a little more interesting stuff. Mainly, I was asking, while I go and try to locate something of relevant interest, do you mind keeping an eye on the kids?
I'm like reaching for a really tall book, and
Yes,
I'm knocking off a bunch of books.
Yeah, you hear at this moment just this.
Oh, you're climbing up and using the books to like.
At this point,
As,
Miss and knock
Say-
a bunch over.
of course.
At
And
this
as I
point,
lean in,
Peter
there's a
runs
piece of
over to
paper
you and
in my
Okay.
hand, which I'm writing
can I
out.
help you
Okay,
pick
yeah.
something?
Oop. Yeah.
You got anything
Hand it to
on,
me after I.
Cord's weaknesses?
I believe you asked me about this, and this is why I got Boron in the first place. But
Oh, you with that one? Yeah.
oh, well, yeah. I can look for you if you want.
Oh, yeah. Good on you.
Okay, look again. And she
Alright.
goes back off into the shelves.
So Shay slipped a piece of paper into my hand, and she's like, "Oh yeah," and like, I'll take care of it, and
She's not even.
whatever. But she's writing it, so after she writes it,
Sure.
I'm gonna go off and look for anything on planetars specifically.
Okay, make an investigation check. Meanwhile,
Keytar.
you approach the desk. There is this sort of like middle-aged looking human, very pale skin. The only one working there, the other two women that you saw previously seem to be off doing other tasks.
23.
Hey,
Hello.
can you help me find something?
That is entirely why I'm here. What could I help you find?
You got any, Is anyone looking? Is
He
anyone
is.
listening?
He is.
Besides him?
No.
Got any, books on how to, read Elvish a little better?
Of course. Are you looking to learn, a first-time learner, or are you more advanced and looking to hone this language for
Well,
yourself?
I will start at square one and see how I do, you know? I can do a little, like, see Sally run, but that's as far as I get.
So a beginner's text.
I'm gonna just pass that to
Well,
Joe.
I'm gonna say beginners,
But you're in the loop now too.
yeah, totally.
He stands up. Come with me, and you follow him forward. And to your
It's
inventory, you
convenient
can
where I'm
add.
going to.
Now,
That's why
granted,
I'm passing it to you.
he would tell you, you can take this book anywhere within the grounds of the Lorebinder Academy. The book won't leave. He says to you, the book won't leave the property.
Okay.
You can add.
Is that like a statement or is that a suggestion?
It is a statement.
Okay. That's the whole like weird thing that we passed as we
That's
were walking
fine.
in, probably.
Yeah. It is elementary Elvish.
Book metal detector.
So
Okay.
with the 23, that and also this.
Okay. So you're looking for stuff on planetars.
Yeah.
In particular, like, what about them?
Origins, names of specific ones, and any sort of like tales, descriptions, things to help further identify.
Okay.
Because if they are
Sure.
individual beings, then they all have individual identities, that kind of thing.
So, what I will say is you do find a book. That would be just on sort of the upper planes and about celestial figures in general. You read a little bit about devas. You read a little bit about
As
planetars.
and all that stuff.
There are apparently at any given time 100 planetars.
Okay.
They
That's like a
don't-
firm number.
Yes.
Okay.
They're not always the same planetars.
Mm-hmm.
Or planetars, sorry. Or I don't actually.
I think it's
know.
planetars.
Planetar, cool.
I
I like planetars. a word better.
Planetars, maybe, but that sounds more like
It
Well, I
sounds
don't know.
weird.
For this
Sounds-
campaign, it'll be planetar.
planetar,
There you
yeah.
Because I think that it sounds better. Planetars can be rewarded and can become solars.
Right.
And then solars, there are a couple of different ones that sort of are examples of virtues, and those are called the virtues. There are no names necessarily for planetars because they do change.
Sure.
Yeah, but you wouldn't come across any names per se.
How about like how long they exist for?
There are some that choose to never progress beyond that. You can be cast down, so you would
Right,
find
it's just
out.
like a hierarchy of ups and downs,
Yes.
kind of. Yeah.
And you would find out that you can be demoted or promoted. You can even fall and be cast out from the upper planes. But no names necessarily.
Okay. I mean, I suppose I would take the book with the most like stories
Okay.
about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even like folklore and shit. Honestly,
Okay. So
Like-
including folklore.
like stuff where basically like mortals have interacted with or purportedly interacted with them. If there's anything
Okay.
in like recent writings, you know, you get what I'm going for. I think.
You can add to your inventory, but again,
Yeah, limited to here.
this is a book that is called Dei Amongst Us.
Okay.
Heinrich, it takes you a second to realize it, but because you can read it,
Uh-huh.
it's in Elvish.
Oh shit. Okay.
You can read Elvish?
I can read everything.
Really?
And I tap my eye to no one.
You're like, oh, it hurts again.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I forgot that
I
that
poke
hurts.
in the
'cause-
air,
yeah.
hoping it's not.
And about that other.
Um,
Send however you'd like to, I guess.
Yeah. Hang on.
Does that roll carry over to like my
Sure.
general like
Yeah, why not?
span of time spent there?
Let me find it. Give me a second here. So you would find there is a reference to something called the Staff of Twisted Fates. There is references to actually a piercing blue comet streaking towards Alberon, and that some being of the past used this staff to destroy the comet, but the staff itself being shattered into 3 pieces. These pieces are known as Danlu, which you for your eyes actually would shift, and actually
I would
you
read it
know
as
them all.
Danlu first, and then it would say.
It would shift to the Breaker. Nine Hedi, which you would see kind of shifts and becomes the Binder.
Okay.
And then Donfa, which is the Shaper. These 3 components, should they be gathered, could potentially put the staff back together.
Okay. And these are the names of the shards?
Correct.
Okay.
There are no known references to these things existing. The last one that you would find would be in the property or within the hands of the Zinyi.
Okay.
And that would be the Binder.
Binder?
Yep.
Okay. Noted. And I put the book back.
Cool.
And I take the the Planetar folklore books
Okay.
with me.
And I'll
To
add
read
that
later,
to,
yeah.
I'll add that to your lore.
Sweet. Do you want this for your notes?
Anything else before you guys bed down for the evening?
Yeah.
Food.
I'm gonna go get food.
Okay.
Sorry, I
guys-
return. I'm like, sorry guys, sorry, I didn't mean to take so long. I
Are we all
kind of got
together?
wrapped up.
Bump into a couple more shelves as I'm like making my way out. Just
Okay.
knock a bunch of books down.
Sure. Yeah, without trouble, you knock some books down, they get on the
Not
ground.
intentionally, just like
Just being
as I'm
old and
leaving,
clumsy.
Just like Gunter's just like, oh, that's a nice looking book. Ah, oh.
And at this point, like behind you, you do hear Kita, who's like, you can hear her voice shift as she bends down to pick up the book, but she says, Mr. Gunter, I didn't find anything for you. I'm really sorry.
Oh, thanks,
Could you
Kita.
please be careful about all of these books? You keep knocking them down.
What?
There are no more down because she has picked them up, but
I don't see any now.
That was pretty quick. Is she a monk?
been picking them up. No, she like stopped. She like literally
good
went and
job.
stood in the corner because she already looked for this.
Yeah.
She did the thing that you do when like somebody's like, "Can you check in the back?" and you're like, "Yeah, sure."
You mean check Facebook or your
Yeah.
text
Yeah,
messages?
whatever. You do
9,
nothing and then you.
10. Sorry, it's not back here.
So she's just been following Gunter, like picking up his books.
Have you even done that when there was
I'm,
something back
I'm
there,
like,
but
"Oh,
the
good
customer
job."
was just
And
so
I keep
terrible? I
walking.
was just like,
Thank
you
you.
don't get this.
Kinda like,
That's right, people. Don't be mean to your customer service
turn the corner, knock a couple.
co-humans.
Don't be
Make
cruel
a
to
make a stealth
humans.
check.
Easy enough, yeah.
Or animals.
Except for dragons, apparently.
Or plants.
She doesn't seem to hear the books fall.
You stealthily knock a book off?
Several.
Several.
You really got him.
You did that weird, like, hacky sack foot thing where you, like, catch it and let it fall on the ground?
As a group, you guys make your way first out into the cold air. You forgot how cold it was,
Yeah.
but being inside, with the exception of you, but being outside,
I
it
hold
is
my book like a nerd, but it's actually warm.
cold. And the wind is picking up a little bit, and
You just kind of deep breathe.
you would imagine, based on what you've experienced in the north so far, you guys are in for some snow tomorrow. But you make your way around, wrapping around the huge Lorebinder Academy proper into that large cylindrical structure that had been pointed out to you as the sort of dormitory building. And as you push the doors open, these heavy wooden doors with these iron bands going vertically down, it is much warmer within. There's no music playing. It is fairly quiet and actually fairly empty at this hour. You can see out on the main long table, there is this like different kind of... actually, you guys have run into these several times now. Casper melons that have been set out.
Oh, yeah.
Little bits of cheese and some kind of like a dark drizzle on them. You can see sitting off the table, there is... Hold on a second here. Don't need that anymore. This sort of grizzled-looking halfling, white hair, sort of wispy and not terribly well kempt. You can see his eyes looking a little glazed over. He's probably been drinking. Hello.
Hey!
Will you be staying here?
Yeah, you got any food? We're all starving.
The kitchen's closed for...
Hold on. We have something from... I keep forgetting his name. I have to write this down.
Boron.
Lorebinder Boron sent us. He said, give us all your best food.
He didn't say that exactly, and I pass him the writ.
I awkwardly put my hand in the
I'll be like, you know what? You can have this one. Just let it go.
Okay, it says here 3 rooms for you.
4.
It says 3.
You're gonna make me sleep alone?
Wait a second. Take it back. I'm looking at it.
Are you gonna try to like change it in front of him?
Make a sleight of hand check and then a performance check.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
23.
For sleight of hand.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's a 14.
Oh.
Didn't sell it
Okay.
as well, but 23.
So you watch as Gunter kind of like opens it up and turns, and
I'm
for
like, oh.
you all see him.
This is
Wait,
cool.
as he does that, I'm like, oh, careful, Gunter, because he looks old and he looks like he might be fiddling with it. To like try
Or
to
like falling or like...
Respect your elders. It's you
Yeah,
can do
respect
what you
your
want.
elders.
Sorry,
This guy
did that
gets
distract him enough?
He doesn't. You don't know.
Perfect.
Oh, look, it says 4 right there.
My eyesight's getting pretty bad.
Yeah, I know how that is. 287.
287.
Yeah,
Old.
yeah,
Very well done.
yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not that
yes.
good, but
Oh, you look it.
please have a seat. I'll prepare something for you.
All right.
He heads off round into a side room. You can hear like the shifting of metal as pots and pans get shifted around, and you smell after probably about 5 minutes like a little bit of smoke coming out, getting a fire started. But you guys have a little bit of time to yourselves if there's anything you'd like to do.
Well, you said there's
Otherwise-
cheese on the table, right?
There's
Was
there's
he
so
eating it?
bits of melon that like a long plate that have been squared off, and there's a little bit like a dried, almost like a Parmesan flake or something, and then something dark that's been put across it. Balsamic vinegar.
I'm going to eat some of the cheese melon.
Okay, yeah, it's a Casper melon, so it is fairly bitter. However,
I was
with the
doing that because you said
sharpness,
Parmesan, so I thought it was like sprinkles.
it's like a shaved piece of Parmesan on each one. But it is this richness from the Parmesan, that almost like a salty, dry flavor that cuts into the sweetness of the melon, and the balsamic with that. It's just this beautiful, like evolving flavor that rolls off your tongue. It's quite good. But he returns. He brings out this entire cooked sort of chicken, along with a couple of potatoes or root vegetables that are difficult probably for you guys to identify. Gunter, actually, some of these are dwarven grown, like a potato kind of, but much starchier. Not often seen around here, usually grown underground. But it's a hearty meal.
Yay.
All right.
And so you guys are able to eat.
Got any ale? Any booze?
We don't sell booze.
You got any?
Make a persuasion check.
This guy doesn't want to share. That's an 8.
Terribly sorry, but we don't sell it.
Okay.
I'm gonna nudge you and be like, I got some. No, I'm not gonna give it to you right now. Later.
This guy won't give me any of his.
Later.
I need some
In the room.
I'm right here.
Yeah, we know. Go away. We're eating.
Thank you for the meal.
Oh, okay. He sort of very, very weird face at you and then kind of nods to you and heads off back to his table. But you guys eat. And if you would like, I mean, you have this moment mostly to yourself. It seems like you probably would have to really be paying attention to overhear you at this distance.
All right, I'm gonna. So, was that guy sus or what? The big one.
Oh,
Miles, right
yeah.
over there.
You think?
I don't trust him.
It's fine.
I thought he was fine.
Nah.
Why not? He seemed nice.
Nah. I think we play along, but he's planning something.
Well, if you got a sense from him, I got a little bit of a sense as well, but
See?
nothing more malicious than anyone who's in an institution who could somehow use information to gain rank.
You mean like Bernal?
No, not even close. Bernal had something at the very end, at least, otherworldly about him in a way that wasn't himself, I'm sure. In fact, whoever was in him even said reference to Bernal
someone
as
in
someone
him?
else.
Oh, Bernal.
Right.
I
That's
thought you
not
meant
the
other
same.
Guy.
But as
He was just so big, I couldn't tell.
but as he
Can
said,
people
it's
handle it?
definitely about
Yeah,
the
they
corruption
definitely feed
is
him while here.
the corruption is definitely something we should be afraid of. I mean, I felt it myself and didn't even put it together until he was talking about it, that Bernal fell to its influence. That shard that we got from Twee, I mean, that's what ended up, I think
What happened to that shard?
Bernal had it. I don't remember what happened to it because it's
I think
literally
we gave
months
it to,
ago.
I think we gave it to him to hold on
did
to.
To
not.
check
Give
it, to
it
check
to
it out,
Bernal.
and it like took over him. So I believe that
So maybe Bernal
The-
isn't an asshole. Maybe it was
He's
just the
kind of an
shard.
asshole.
I don't think so.
He killed our boy.
he.
I
didn't.
don't think it was him.
Regardless, I think he is irredeemable to us at this point. Nothing we could do to save or prevent, well, anything, because he's already become and done what he's done. But to your point, I don't think this guy has anything in common with Bernal in that regard. More that he just seemed like any other mortal who seeks more power, even if it is minor. And I think this guy is a little trustworthy and someone we could use, at least, to gain more information. I mean, you remember the prophecy, right?
An asshole too. What
You-
prophecy?
From the tomb outside of Port Quinn.
I remember that.
You don't? You
I
do?
remember that.
You do.
Yeah, I
So
shot in one of the.
in the sarcophagus. You shot in the
Oh,
sarcophagus.
She
when I
says,
was falling
not
through the
drinking.
sewer?
No.
Left a nice gift.
Forgot
Before
about
the
that,
sewer.
yeah.
Before
In the
sewer.
graveyard. The very first thing we did right
Before
when we got
I
off.
fell into the sewer.
Right.
Ah.
The very first thing. Back when we still had Iluktai and Ariadne with us.
Oh
Weird girl
shit!
with
I wonder
half
what
a-
happened to Ariadne.
We just saw her. She took our drugs.
Do you
Regardless,
think she
regardless.
took the drugs?
There's
I mean,
more.
probably. She,
The
Seems
prophecy.
like the kind of girl who
Focus.
would wanna take
Hey,
the drugs.
guys, focus for a second. The prophecy seems to be
The
telling us.
halfling walks back up. Yes.
Not you. I'm sorry. This is to my very.
They're
Very
still
good.
eating.
Very
Sorry.
yummy,
They're
thank
overtired,
you.
and it takes a little bit to keep attention. I'm sure you've
He's
seen this a
getting
lot
late.
around
of
here.
course, Of course,
Yes.
And he walks back to his seat. He just was responding to the snapping.
Right, got it. I forgot that's where we were. But the prophecy, that seems to be telling where all of the crystal shards from this fallen star are, or parts of the star.
So we should just.
Feed him the information bit by bit. This is my thought. We already know now the details of one of them. The clues have been sort of...
Technically, we know the details of two.
That's true, because we've already been told, and that's too late for that one. But if they can find, if we don't have to do anything other than give them the information, give specifically, I'm gonna read my notes. If we give Boron the information, but piece by piece, we can kind of keep him and his suspicious ulterior motives, if there are really any, in check by just only what we need to give him. So we know this one, we go and do that. While we're doing that, we give him one more bit, we come back, they may have found more information, and then we can go off and check out that one, and then give him more
I can very
information.
easily tell you another.
Well, shit. But that's just where my mind is at. He said be cautious. We should take that and also apply it to him as well. I mean, I feel he would only do the same, it seems. Overall, though, trustworthy enough. With weird interior power grabbing kind of things with the Lore Binder Academy, I don't think would really necessarily affect us.
You have no idea.
Then inform me more of... I mean, maybe not here. Maybe if we, once we're done eating. Because it seems like that stuff's even more private than something that could be interrupted by an accidental snap of the fingers.
Do you snap again?
No, I don't. I go up to gesture and not
Yeah.
that.
Do you send a mental snap to our minds?
Yeah, I go,
No,
and then
I'm
I
just kidding.
send this... No, I don't. I'm like,
I was gonna say you could send a message to him.
yeah.
Do you thaumaturgy a snap?
No. That would be really loud.
So at this point, eating and drinking, it's getting close to 3 a.m.
I'm gonna go sleeps. I'm gonna go read on some Scrod.
Okay.
Sleeps.
Yeah, you go and read Playing Scrod. And you learn a little bit about some of the strategies and the opening gambits to combine 3 tiles to get your best advantage early on.
I follow him into his room.
Okay.
Wait.
What's the room look like?
So upstairs, within these rooms, there's like a spiral stone staircase that leads out to several different floors. The very second floor, the very first floor up from where you are, there are 3 rooms that kind of wrap around the outside, and then 2 that make up the interior. The one that Gunter's in is in the interior. You walk in, there are 3 beds in each room. There is like a central table. There is what looks like sort of like an armoire, although there are no doors on it. And there's a window, this is an interior one, so there's no window.
Well, I crawl into one of the beds in the same room he said.
Even though we now have 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's become a comfort thing.
I guess so, yeah.
I haven't slept alone in a very long time. The last person I slept with Thistle.
That's true.
And then I snuggled up to Gunter. I can't sleep alone. Don't make me do that.
I'm just like reading the book, just like there.
And I'm gonna open up my book and I'm just gonna go like,
I mean, yeah, it's 3 a.m.
and it falls on my face.
You guys are probably fucking
Right in your
exhausted.
face. You read the first word. So before going into, because I imagine that you guys probably have stuff to do before bed,
Yeah.
2 of you.
I
just want to go,
It seems like it.
because it is 10 o'clock, I do want to go to break,
Okay.
because I really have to pee.
No, yeah, that's fine.
So we're going to take a break right now.
Oh, man, way to break the 4th wall, dude.
No more magic.
It is 10:01. We'll be back at like 10:15 or so, maybe a little bit after that. We'll see you then.
Bye. Shit.
Welcome
How did
back.
this get in my hand?
I don't know. Welcome back to Adventures in Alberon. Thank you very much. For those of you who stuck with us through the break.
Oh god, that was.
Yeah,
that was
it's
a good one.
better than last week.
Oh yeah.
Whew. The secret break time shot being tequila, of course.
But don't tell anyone.
It's a secret. Hi, Bon.
But we do encourage you to join us if you're of age.
I did not.
If you are of age. So, it is still night. It's probably about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
I'm zonked.
Two of you are in the same room. You took out your book on Elvish and just kind of immediately passed out. You read a little bit about how to play Scrod. Learned a little bit about the game and its tiles and the different things about it. What do you want to do?
I feel like we would both be walking to.
I'm kind of like give you the eye and like
It's like.
go to the same room.
Okay. You find your way upstairs.
The eye.
The
Yeah.
eye, huh?
Out of
You
context.
actually have rooms that are next to each other
Yeah.
on the outside, so you actually do have windows in your rooms. But otherwise, very similar. They're these dormitory style.
Yeah.
3 beds each room, table.
Oh. But they're all like just us in it.
I was
Yeah,
about
so
to
they
just ask,
seem as if they're
is there
made.
someone else?
You actually crawled into bed with
With
this
not
old
good-
lady.
But it's another person, so I'm still happy.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I'm just kidding.
It's 7 children.
Gunter, you're so
In a trench
soft. Have
coat.
you been moisturizing?
All right.
Oh, they'd be terrified too. None of these people have ever seen really tabaxi. So like a little kid waking up to like black fur, gleaming eyes. Oh, terrifying.
I mean, but Boron seems to mention Tabaxi so
Yeah.
casually as if they're known.
Most of the people within the Lorebinder Academy you would have noticed have not been terribly
Sure.
surprised. Actually,
At anyone.
any of you who are really paying attention would have heard Kita say that it had been some time since the tabaxi had been there.
No,
Right.
that was when we
Remember that.
first showed up.
Yeah.
And then I climbed up the tree and did the Sandman coming down.
The Sandman.
Sandman?
What is it? Sandstorm.
Oh, the Darude, yeah. Anyway, moving on. The two of you find your way to this room. Close the door behind you.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was a lot. Oh man, that was a lot. Well, as per your note, first of all,
Yes.
well, what I found was that staff has a name. The Staff of the Twisted Fates. And then I just go through and tell the whole thing, basically, like just to catch up, but more or less the whole Don Lu.
He gives you the name,
Hold
which
on.
to you are in Zinyi, and immediately pull this imagery. And
Nankedi and Donfa.
yeah,
Fuck you just
Sure.
Is that it? Is the middle one right? My handwriting was terrible.
Nankedi?
I was writing really fast.
What are you trying to say?
but he would tell you.
Yeah, not as easy to remember names
Right?
as you thought.
What's that?
That's why you make your own.
Nankedi? Can you read that for me?
Non-Hadi
Nanhedi. Okay, so it's an H. Okay.
I was gonna say
and Donfan.
non-titty?
And those are Zinyi
Non titties.
for the break, or sorry, for the binder
ED.
and the shaper.
Non-titty.
And as Heinrich describes these things to you, there is this moment where you really start to think about the Zinni reliquary that you had early on. And it would be the right size for something like the binder.
So does any of that mean anything to you?
The legend goes that long ago, some comet was racing toward the world.
Mm.
The staff was used to stop it, to break it. In the effort, the staff was broken,
Mm-hmm.
and cataclysm was averted.
Okay.
In light of recent events, it seems to me that that might be a useful tool.
Yeah. Seems like possibly a failsafe, maybe. Because
It's
based on Boron's description, it might be that we can prevent the racing of the comet, the blue star, all these things kind of. If we can prevent that from even beginning, then we wouldn't need it. But if we had it, then we wouldn't need to worry as much. Does that sound
I fear it's already too late because the star has fallen, but it can't hurt. That was my other purpose in leaving the monastery, was to find it.
And so, these pieces, these shards, the 3 that I mentioned, that I have now corrected their spelling.
It's not an easy spelling for what it's worth.
Yeah, I think I did okay. I did the phonetic. I mean, and your face lit up at Nonhedi. Is that something that makes sense to you?
It could very well what was in that reliquary you found.
Well, then it's good that it's back at the monastery. If it's back at the monastery.
It should be. Product is reliable.
Right, I was gonna say.
You're
Yeah, you're
not
not there.
More in your sleep, there's this flapping of wings.
You're right. Well, then,
No, I'm just kidding.
the only other thing that I suppose I would... I mean, like you said when we were in the room with Boron, what other parts of the prophecy, aside from... Oh gosh, which one was it?
You have it written down, yes.
I do, and I produced my journal.
And
I flip past the shit about, like, Azra.
Sure.
And, like, as I see it, I'm like, I kind of like, ugh, gross. The only other one that would make sense. So obviously the purple maw is keen scale, which we've just been informed of.
This next stanza here references a squall.
Right.
In my tongue, we call it Nkarayo, which means fury. To the north, even beyond the monastery, there is such a thing.
Has it been going on for a long time?
Last decade or so. Is that right?
At its current state, like since it flared up, yeah. About a decade since it got to the intensity that it's at, where it's nearly impossible to approach.
So based on this, see but do not hear, cacophony of the squall is near, at its center rests a ring upon the hand of a cold king. Was there a civilization farther north? Is it still in existence, or is it...
a land bridge that leads to a place called Kamat, I believe. It's hard to get there nowadays.
Because of the storm? Okay. Well, that one we don't seem to need to share the information with this new ally of ours.
There are rumors of giants within the squall, though not substantiated.
I honestly believe anything at this point. We just saw dragons fly out after we left Bernal there, and
There is a line in there about giants as well.
but that's further down. Yeah.
It's further down.
Let's think here. Well, is everything up far north? Except for the very last stanza, which obviously to me now seems very much is the one who I have just betrayed, and I struggle to say that word. I really do. Because I didn't feel any allegiance, more just obligation, I suppose, out of having a path that was provided to me when I had none.
Turned your back on, so to say?
Say what?
Turned your back on, so to say?
Yeah. Who obviously was very upset with that. I'm going to leave that last one for last, to be quite honest. But the other ones, it seems, okay. So we have the purple maw, we know that. We have the squall, we know that. Somewhere at the center of this storm. Some dead king, or you say giant. Would Heinrich know about things like ice giants or things like that? Any sort of
history check?
Any sort of, which I would also ask you about after this check. Oh, that's pretty good. 16 plus 1, 17.
You know that there are different kinds of giants.
Right.
At least the tales say that there are. In your lifetime,
Or were.
Yeah, in your lifetime, even stretching back probably to Gunter's lifetime, giants have not really been seen. At least not in Dominion.
So none of us would probably know details?
Not
about them?
details, but I mean the tales are pretty vivid, and so people like to tell them.
Okay.
And they're a common theme, around children when you want to tell the tales
Sure.
of like the giants and the dragons.
Or like nerds in their parents' basement with dice and
Yeah, 100% little figures. And so you would know that there are frost giants. That's the thing,
Okay.
theoretically.
That might be
Could be.
something related. Let's see here. The first passage. This is the one that I was going to ask Boron about, but it seemed like it wouldn't make sense. But the Dragon Slayer he mentioned, or the group of them, if that's actually the case, the Gazelle. Gazelle? Was it?
Yeah. So
It was the first tooth found by man, the first shard found by man. Someone whose hair was orange. His mind expands makes me think some sort of wizard or something.
It does reference, though, that he was near.
Right, so closer to where we
Closer to
started.
where we began.
And if that was the case,
Likely not a nocturne.
no. That's true. Where else is close to Port Quinn? Like that might have. I mean,
Or do you know any valleys?
it's of note. Right. Well,
'Cause at this point he's likely there.
to the valley, of course. Yeah, that's true. Anything close by, that would be of that fitting that description, kind of like a valley or
make either a history or a nature check.
without looking at my stats. The one that I think I would just defer to would be nature because of the
Make a nature check.
checking around,
Sure, yeah.
survival and all that shit.
No, makes absolute sense to me.
Yeah, no, it's a 6.
Valleys, I mean, it's difficult. Port Quinn itself, to the east of the larger mountain range, there are no real valleys. I mean, there's the hills that kind of border the farmlands to the north.
I had never really been on. I'd never been that far west either.
No,
past the mountains,
definitely
so.
not. Only 2 of you have been that far west.
And neither of us are there.
Perhaps something to
Right.
ask the other members of the party tomorrow.
Right. Well, then the other ones. There are 3 more that I think we haven't gone over.
It is about 3:30 in the morning,
Uh-huh.
and so you guys are getting kind of close to the point where you're getting into exhaustion territory. Just so you guys know.
Well, I wouldn't.
No,
If I'm just reading,
But Shay is,
but
yeah.
Shay
I
is
am.
certainly.
I would see that. Then I'd be like, you know what? Let's save this. Go over the last 3 before we see Boron tomorrow. If we feel that we even need to ask him or give him any of this information.
I agree with you, and it should be piecemeal if we do.
Right. Just bit
There-
by bit.
Are people, anyone, who would use this to do any sorts of things?
I mean, or not even intend to is
Or
the
not
case
intend
with
to.
Bernal, obviously. At this point now, I think we can put that one to bed.
As I mentioned when we first obtained this piece from Twee, it is incredibly dangerous.
Right. Right. Well, on the morrow, see you then. I will go figure out what to do for the next 8 hours.
Enjoy your restlessness.
Yeah, it's not quite restless per se, but okay. I will at least read. Pick up a craft maybe as I mutter and I like turn around.
Sure.
Because I'm realizing now that I have 8 hours of solitude.
So Shay, you
Out, gone, sleep.
go to sleep, and it is a comforting sleep. For the first time in a really long
Even
time,
if
you
I
have
loaded, I
been
wouldn't see it.
steadily pushing yourself physically, and it feels good.
I did.
And you're a little closer to home.
Yes. It's very nice. I like this.
Heinrich, what are you doing with your 8 hours?
Whatever.
Okay. Starting by reading that folklore book,
Okay.
The Day Amongst Us. That would be the first thing.
It's a lot of cosmopolitan.
Huh?
Just kidding.
Read a lot of Cosmos.
There are these like 3
Teen
really
magazine.
ratchet goddesses named the...
I meant to
Cra-
start with the
No, I'm not even gonna.
legends, but
Kardashian.
Yeah, I was trying to like not do something so fucking obvious, but yeah.
The Real Housewives of Port Quinn.
Yeah. All right, Allie. You get a mark.
Like and subscribe.
You know what's great?
I like drama.
You know what's
I
great?
can't help it.
I fed that one to you.
You did.
And you still got the mark. Anywho, moving on. So I read this book, looking really specifically for, like, the closest, most reasonably believable stories about contact, I suppose. Okay. You know what I mean? Without like going into what you may have written that I haven't read about who this new patron potentially could be, looking for any sort of sign that would be familiar based on the fact that Planetar stuck out to me.
Roll a straight intelligence check.
11. Up and down. Right, I rolled a 10.
Insofar, I mean, within this book, there are a lot of mentions of the gods indirectly contacting mortals because of the divine accord through other beings. Mm-hmm. You would imagine it's possible that one of the gods is using some kind of an angelic being, perhaps a planetar, to act as an intermediary to give you these powers.
And then I think through that is... I'm looking for that as the channel to just identify where all this new stuff is coming from. Okay. Because, like, it feels familiar in that the way Azra was providing me with the power before, it fills the same space, but it feels different, and therefore I know that something that can be contacted or can contact me, I'm trying to make a more concerted effort to contact that. Okay. Or, like, find information on how to. Sure. Like, you know, pieces of story that, like, oh, this person went to the woods and did this thing. Like, oh, okay, maybe if I did, you know what I mean? Like, looking for, like, patterns in that sense.
Yeah, you definitely, you look for all those things.
Right.
Sure.
And from here on out, that's what I will be doing if I read and do this. That is one of my craft things that I will be spending time on doing.
So, unless you mention otherwise, I will assume
that. Okay. That I'm working towards it.
Sure. No worries. You spend some time delving into the book and trying to draw connections, not just within the book, but also within your own life. Things that you've experienced, things, especially since joining the Finger Gang. Events have transpired that have really led you in a new path. And so you think about similarities, and as you do, time passes. Mm-hmm. You don't find sleep, but you feel rested. The rest of you can all mark off long rests. Most of you would awaken around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. You do not sleep. Right around probably about 10 o'clock, actually, you would hear that there is a knock on your door.
I'm gonna, when I open my eyes, I just see, like, the book, so it's still just, like, dark, and I'm like, it's still early.
Yeah, it's go right back to sleep. Wonderful.
To the knock, you're like, oh, who is it?
You hear muffled through the door. It's Kita.
Oh, yes, hold on a moment, and then I, like, imitate sounds of, like, getting ready.
Okay, yeah, you just gotta make a performance check.
Sure. I, like, shuffle armor and, you know, make the bed again. That's 13.
Yeah, you kind of, like, run your hands up and down the scales to make some noise, and you, like, shuffle the bed around a little bit. You go to the door, you open up. Mm-hmm. Okay. And there is Kita, looking pretty tired, but gives you a little smile. We're going to just gather everybody together if that's okay. The Lorebinder is eager to start things along.
Oh, right now. I mean, do we get to eat first, at least?
There's food in his office, I think better than you'll find here.
Ah, well, that's... Okay, sure. Okay, lead the way, I suppose. Let me get my friends first.
Please, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I'll meet you downstairs.
I was about to say meet you downstairs. Okay. So I go and...
You get the sense that there is, like, a mindful act of giving you guys a little bit of privacy. There is, like, she maybe not her, but somebody between the two of them has kind of recognized that there isn't, like, a lot of trust here yet, and there is this attempt, at least, to give you guys some space.
Right.
At the same time, this is a pressing matter.
Yeah, of course.
So
it's the end of the world. And
she has
shit.
done. She has, maybe you can get to it next Tuesday, but it's better today.
Yeah.
So if you watch as she goes downstairs, down the spiraling staircase, and seems to be waiting for you down there.
Okay. I go and knock on Shade's door first.
Okay.
It takes a minute. because I'm still asleep.
Yeah.
Because
A little groggy, but you still get your long rest, and you wake up.
good morning.
Morning. Our presence is requested.
Of course it is.
Yeah. But again, before we leave, let's let them know about. We don't need to give them anything at this moment. Maybe we can give them something we already know, if they need to hear something, just to gain their trust.
Sure.
I don't mean to be super deceptive necessarily, but like you said,
You are correct.
You know.
In seeming.
yeah. Let's say maybe the
Before
one
we
about.
have another Bernal on our hands.
Let's say maybe the one about the lost out to sea thing, which we already
They'll
know.
know about that.
Is that? Well, if we just tell them that, then we can at least,
That's fair.
Anywho. Okay. And then go and knock on the one that Gunter went into, because I'm certain Morwen snuck in there.
Probably.
I would have no reason to try to keep an eye on. I knock on the one that you guys are in.
Oh,
Or is
what
it?
fucking time is it? It's so early, and I turn over, and then the book shuts up, and I'm like, whoa.
I'm doing my
Still
stretches.
fairly dark, but because you guys are in an interior room with no
Oh, I thought we
windows.
had a window.
They have windows.
We had
We
windows.
don't?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I'm just like,
Oh, cinematically over the evening, I would have said I would have liked
So
to
just wake up
pined
and
out the
do is
window
just
for a
doing his
fair amount of
walks.
time. Actually, hold on, wait. Pined out the window. I struck my lantern.
you always do weird stuff in the morning. I'm not questioning it.
And Moen has spent like every day you guys slept in the same bed. So very used to your morning routine. is Moen.
It's the most like non-platonic but platonic at the same time kind of thing.
It's almost like further away from platonic, even in the opposite direction.
Yeah, but
Like,
also in the same bed.
yeah, it's fantastic. It's a great relationship. Because you guys also fight more than anybody else in the group, which is
Brother
Physically.
sister with
It
like
is.
286 years apart. It's fine.
almost Irish
You're
twins.
1 year old.
Well, I don't. It's questionable. What?
Gunter thinks of it as like the cat at the foot of the bed.
That's fine. You're the grumpy old man at the foot of the bed. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, you guys are both sleeping on the foot for some reason. This massive bed.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Pillows go unused.
At thaumaturgy. Who is it?
It's me. It's Heinrich.
Oh, come on in! Still thaumaturgy.
yep.
Okay, I'll thaumaturgy the door open. I just stand there like this and it just opens.
Then I'm gonna like what I
I'm
do
doing this
is
and you
just.
see a silhouetted me.
No.
Just kidding, it's
Well,
me.
I'm very tired and I'm kind of grumpy about it, so I'm just gonna like Michael Myers like. I just like turn
Morwen.
to no one, but yeah, I give you
Morwen.
like a little bit of like a.
Good morning.
I'm like
Good morning,
getting up,
Marwin.
doing some toe touches.
Of course, yeah.
It is
Bending all 5 feet.
Yeah.
it's about 5 fingers above the horizon now.
I try to peer through my fur to see the tattooed watch I faked.
From when did
Nah,
you
just
learn
kidding.
that?
I will say that.
It's right
Well,
twice,
whatever.
every day.
Never mind. Tells a different time. All right. No.
No, it's a military like huge dial
Oh,
that
of
goes
course.
24 hours all around. All right.
Next to the arm.
Moving on. Our presence is requested. Boron wants to.
Boron Snoron.
Good one.
No, let's
Well,
go. Will there be food?
Gunter,
Yes.
Gunter requests
I'll go for
bacon.
food.
well, I don't know about the bacon that they have here.
I mean, those potatoes were pretty good last night.
Apparently, it's much better what we'll be having with Boron as it was here,
Oh, yeah.
according to Kita.
All right, well then let's go get some
Better
breakfast.
potatoes,
Some better potatoes.
but also yes. How do we tell them? Let's loop them in. We need to loop them in.
Start walking out the door.
Hold
and
on,
go get the potatoes.
but briefly. One moment.
Ah.
One moment.
You get like almost clothesline effect.
Yeah. We shouldn't give Boron too much information. I think you would agree on that.
Oh no, definitely not.
Right. We should
okay.
just take what they can give
We
us.
help him, but we help us proportionally.
Right. And this isn't in necessarily a malevolent
4
way.
for
We
one. We get, you know.
1 for
Right.
4.
You see Morwen tiredly from the bed.
We're in a
And then I go ta-da and change my thing out of what do my pajamas look like?
Oh man.
What do your pajamas look like?
Yellow.
Do you
with-
sleep in your armor though?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, it'd be weird if I slept in the buff.
Would it?
for you.
I
No,
didn't know,
you were
like-
naked
like
for a fair
next
amount
to
of.
him, you know.
Yeah, fair enough. Either way. Okay. So you're sleeping in your armor.
Yeah. And it's my pajamas are it's yellow with pink smiley faces everywhere.
Sure.
And I go, ta-da! And it's the normal stuff.
Ah,
So in the bed from the vibrant yellows and
and
pinks.
pink dotted. Yeah.
All of
Like
a sudden,
very cutesy.
these little faces kind of into the
They
studs
all
of the armor
frown
itself.
and then change.
Sure.
All right.
They frown into studs. Just like me.
Before we go and have this meeting, I believe we can trust this Boron and this Kita that we've met. No one else, really, as so far as we know.
What?
Trust. Just talking about trust and,
You don't trust me?
and relaying information. No, I trust you. Of course,
I
I
say
trust
we
you.
use Kita to find some more stuff about it, because she seems pretty naive.
If you feel that might be something,
Do you feel a
that would
scam
be-
coming on?
I do
No,
feel
it's
one.
too early. It's too. I do.
No,
I do feel
no. No more scams while we're here, especially if you try to steal something,
no,
it'd probably
you're right,
stay.
You're right. It's too magical
To
here.
to put down
No one's got a.
to put down the bulleted list of the day, it is let's meet. Let's find out what they know, as much information as they can give us.
Yeah, we take as much as we can.
And we give them a little bit of the
Just
prophecy.
thank you.
We give them a little bit of the prophecy that
Mental
that,
scamming.
that they
Maybe
already
they
may
know
know but
it's
may
fake.
not. But you know, just you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
We
Okay.
help them out. but
And
not
then we
too
check
much.
out that cryptid. That sounded
Crippin
rather.
is a guy, yeah, he sounds like a nice guy.
Well, I don't
He
know.
sounds
Nice.
cute.
Sounds interesting. If he's older than you, he must have more information, and if he's selling things, he might be able to, at least.
Maybe buy
Sounds
some
like he
more.
could use a friend too. He sounds lonely.
Aren't you a little bit
Leave that up to
lonely
you.
and
I will leave that up to you. I am fine. I have your guys' wonderful
What do you-
company.
what do you
I say.
mouth into the crowd?
Mouthing to the crowd.
What do you mouth into the crowd
I'm
over
giving.
there?
I'm giving you a very like.
Did I
Yes,
catch it?
you are wonderful company.
As I walk away.
And I'm like,
Do
Alright,
Expect it.
go
Let's
get some
go.
bacon.
either of you know of a valley that would be important?
Do I know?
Make it, yes.
Would
make
any-
a history
I'm-
check.
a
Can I
valley
roll too?
nearby.
I don't fucking
a
know,
valley
but I can
nearby
try.
Port Quinn, maybe.
Is it a stone valley?
Reminding you of the
That's
prophecy that you were
that's a
there
critical
for as well.
fail.
Okay.
The prophecy that you
You
were
mean-
You're not
there.
really sure what.
If you need help to remembering it's the first one, that one.
I
Do
know
you do
him
that?
too, in fact. Yeah.
So as you ask about the valleys, Morwen somehow pulls part of the leather armor up and exposes her tabaxi breasts
Thank you.
and says,
You mean this valley?
I like avert my eyes like, oh my god.
Oh, as if you haven't seen him before. You guys
16?
already called him old
Yes, but now
news.
you've normalized the clothing, and so now it seems
Now it's
uncouth to
re-shocking.
"This
stare.
is actually a fascinating study on like anthropology."
yeah.
Gunter, you
And
said something.
anthropomorphism at the same time.
Yes, you were doing,
Recalling the valley.
and your role was.
16.
For Gunter, it's difficult to narrow down a single valley.
But based on
Oh
the
wait,
prophecy.
then I'm
Based
I'm
on
like,
the prophecy, you gotta say it ahead of time. Based on
I
the
already
prophecy,
did that joke.
guidance.
Too late. Too late.
let him
Based on the prophecy, and knowing that it's something nearby the tomb of Eroway.
Oh, the tomb of Verway.
There is a
Right,
legend
right. Remember.
about
Remember.
some.
yeah.
You
You're not. Give yourself a mark.
And also now I'm sad.
you would remember that there is a valley somewhere to the north of Port Quinn, more to the west, actually right within the mountain range that separates Sarentil from the west for the east coast. Supposedly there is a valley that you can access
Stop remembering so hard.
that contains a number of very old species of plants and animals, and that is what it's most known for. There are a lot of plants that have peculiar properties that help in medicine and things like that.
Oh, there's that Valley of Plants.
It's the untouched valley.
The Untouched Valley.
Plants.
Plants and stuff. As, you know,
Was there any
I
human?
relay all of that.
Was there any human that would be nearby or anything? This is weird because based on the prophecy, it would be a man, but any orange plants? Or people with orange hair? People turned
gonna
into
interject- you're
plants?
gonna interject
Plant
really
people? Maybe plant people who had orange hair that turned into orange plants?
Plant peeboos?
This is getting weird.
I would love to plant a peaboo.
That's our next item on the store is a
20.
chia pet with orange hair.
Orange hair. Not a terribly common trait. With dwarves, a little bit more common. And you remember in the island of Sunrest, a lot of people with orange hair. Seems to be a pretty dominant trait there. But you can't think of any individuals, and you certainly can't think of any animals with orange hair.
Or plants.
Nothing comes to mind.
A squirrel, actually. There's like really reddish-haired squirrels. But other than
The
that,
red squirrels and dwarves down south have red hair on sunrise.
Well,
Like, what's that
You
guy?
know, let's-
The guy.
also Fat Boy is getting a talent or a tally
a tally.
for a joke about Boron's name, which was horrifically good.
Oh God, what was it? You gave him a mark. I got it.
Oh, I like it.
I gotta know.
I like that.
Hold on. What was it?
All right, this is the only time I'm ever going to do this.
Okay, you did it, kid.
So that you guys should report Boron to an alchemist because he's rare.
Oh fuck.
Physically painful.
I will cheers to that.
Yeah. All right.
Well
all right. You know what? Okay.
What is our
Moving
nightly acknowledgement to chat?
Moving on. All right. So, well, okay. We'll keep thinking. If you've been there, you've been there. You've just heard of it.
I just heard of it.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
I've heard of it, yeah, I've never been there. Don't even know that it's actually real.
the Untouched Valley.
The Untouched Valley.
Okay.
It's like a fairy tale.
That might be something to, if we get stuck, ask Boron.
The backup option, so to say.
Right. Because we have plenty of others that we already are known to us, and
What's going on?
well, we caught you up. I will
At this
catch you
point
up
you do-
again about the conversation
Oh, yeah.
as we continue
that's
downstairs,
That's fine.
so we don't make her come up and
You
wait.
wind your way down the stairs, and you can see halfway up the stairs already is Kita, who's coming up to get you.
Sorry, heavy sleeper, and I point at Marwin.
Kind of turns to look at you. Okay, but we're all ready now.
Yes.
Okay, follow me. And
What's
she
for breakfast?
leads her way as she opens the door, and a little bit of snow comes in. It is snowing again. We'll see what Boron has prepared, or has had prepared, but it is something, I'm sure, very elaborate. He eats quite well.
All right.
A nudge.
You make your way through the snow. There's almost like a foot and a half of it now that it's fallen in total. Part of it being cleared away sometime in the night, and now fresh snow falling even on the paths. You can see more of these crystalline trees that dot the campus here and there.
I pick up some snow, make it to a snowball, and just chuck it at a tree.
You check it at a tree, and Kita isn't watching you do this, but all of a sudden, as the snowball impacts these beautiful glass-like leaves, there is just this huge, discordant mass of different noises.
And I'm like,
Yeah, it's just like it sounds just like reverberating crystal as you rotate around the rim, but just like 6 or 7 different notes, all jangling at different
Yeah.
times.
Discordant,
She
yeah.
starts and just please don't touch the trees.
I
Again,
didn't
they're
do
very
that.
valuable. Make a deception check.
well, I wasn't trying to be seen while doing that. She wasn't looking.
She wasn't. No.
Yeah. You guidance me for this? Okay.
Wait, are these the same trees I climbed up?
Yes. Simple.
Oh,
not
yeah.
the same ones, but yeah. same
Dude, are you
species.
kidding me? Deception? Well, 20... 26.
She turns to Gunter as she finishes the sentence. Please come with me. And she hurries her pace.
Yeah, I wink at you.
You guys go into the library proper, and now it is much more crowded. During the actual daytime hours, you are seeing, probably
Only the most studious late at night.
Yeah, and now you're seeing, there's probably about 100 people within this building. It's hard to tell because these stacks are so convoluted and laid out and complicated in the way that they twist around this huge building. But easily 100 people, if not more. You make your way through this main thoroughfare and through the desk.
I stop at the desk.
Okay.
Thank you. And I return the book.
Okay.
Me too. I return mine
Okay. This halfling woman,
before I forget.
you're quite welcome, and takes your book, puts it underneath. It takes your book and also returns it and nods to you. A little bit longer of a look, but
Well, I
She's
pass
a
mine face
good
down.
learner.
okay. Still takes a little longer of a look and puts it down. You guys make your way further past the stacks and into this small stone office of Lorebinder Boron. But as you approach, you do smell this intense, some kind of almost like a gamey sort of bird smell. You can smell some fatty element, and as you walk in, there is this entire, what looks like almost a much larger version of a turkey. Parts of it have been carved away and then placed into a dish, which has some kind of a reddish, maybe tomato-based component. And you can see that there are eggs that have been cooked somehow within that as well. There's a scent of onion. Shakshuka very much,
Can't have it.
but it is this like beautiful smelling thing. You can see next to it a couple different kinds of bread. There is like this big like glob of butter that's been placed on a dish. There is salt, there is pepper. There's a couple other spices, which very expensive to have spice in general.
If
there
only
are-
Ariadne was here.
There are there's coffee. There are a couple different kinds of tea. There is some kind of like a syrupy looking drink. But as you enter, Boron, looking a little bit cheerier than he did the previous evening. Finger gang. I trust that you all
Yes.
slept well.
Oh, yes. Comfortably enough.
Good.
Can I have some of that?
Please help yourself.
I take a bunch of
diving in.
eggs.
Okay, yeah.
I'm grabbing a little bit of everything.
It's a fantasy game. Do what you can't do in
Well,
reality.
I'm grabbing
Yeah, exactly.
a chunk of everything and just
Drink all the sugary shit.
It's
going at it.
I can have the tomatoes.
I have an egg sunny side up, please.
all of it absolutely fantastic. The exception being this tomato-based sauce, while still very good, definitely canned. There's some kind of canned component to it. Not terribly fresh, but the eggs unbelievably fresh. Probably there are chickens somewhere here. It is like a wonderful meal.
Is this a canned meal?
Gunter,
tomato
don't
sauce.
don't be rude.
Tomatoes
to
are
know
hard to
I
get
don't
this
eat
far
the
north.
Wait, he spills it. Can I try to
Everything else
catch
is
it?
Pretty good.
Make a dexterity check.
Oh my god, do
Make
we really do this?
make a acrobatics check.
For anyone who's just recently joining this scene, we make the most asinine dice rolls.
27.
Ridiculous fucking-
As you sort of like dump a little bit of this
My
tomato
tail
sauce
swoops in.
out.
No, I'm just kidding. But you go.
You can if you want. That's a high roll.
With a 27, hell yeah, I catch
As
it with
the-
my tail
you
while
kind
I'm
of
shoveling
brush-
food in my mouth.
An element of the tomato sauce off. You wait for the kind of satisfying sound it's going to make, but you never hear it. And
You just hear a
see,
slurp.
yeah, and you look over, and Morwen's tail is like coming away from her mouth.
As her two other hands are also shoveling food in.
Yeah, she's eating.
Gracefully.
Need to take a bath.
Boron watches this a little bit unnerved, but
To be
does-
fair, our name is the Finger Gang.
Alright, pound.
It was given to us.
I'm going to
For a reason.
pound town.
I
You're
understand.
acting like this shows that, but yeah.
Finger looking good. Gang.
Make a
We,
deception
that
check.
is a I don't.
Please make a deception check.
I really
Give
hate
him a
that.
mark,
love it.
please.
No, this is what it's for.
Yeah, that was gross. Give him a
Deception?
mark.
Yep.
That's a 21, motherfucker. No check.
An interesting way to have earned a name. I suppose.
I suppose I should come clean. It is not this way. Although I suppose some of us do usually eat
It was
so
really-
barbarically.
Are you like
Branded to us.
flossing over there? What are you doing?
You don't want to do that on the internet.
That GIF is already in production. All right, we're done. Moving on.
Anywho.
So you've called us here this morning. Thank you for the food.
Of course. I did want to go over an idea, share a little bit more about what we know
Yes,
and
please.
our thought process about ways in which you might reach Kultural.
Right.
We do know that in a radius of almost 5 miles around Colteron, Imperial system, sentient beings are having nightmares. Keenscale, this massive purple dragon, is able to influence the things that you think, the things that you dream. She can obtain as knowledge for herself, and she can use it to influence you as you wake. As you get closer, be aware that not all that you see will be real. She uses these tricks and this ability to cow other creatures to her cause. Do not be surprised if there are various beasts and other things that she is using to keep the rest of the dwarves in check. She does have offspring. Expect to encounter those as well. The journey north will be difficult. It is nearly 13 days to Colteron, depending on how you wish to travel there.
How would you suggest?
1 second.
And on that note, how would you suggest? Knowing all of us.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can talk about that later.
Head north, through the Valley of Vigor, wrap across the frozen River of Colors, wind your way through about halfway up Mount Taram. From there you can gain entryway through the main gates of the city, if you can find a way through.
Well, gonna stop you right there. And unless anyone else of us, any others of us know better, the main entry, if the whole area is under the influence of this purple dragon, would seem a little obvious.
The citadel at the top is protected through magic. As far as I know, there is no way directly in. Perhaps you can find a way, but it is unknown to me. I'm sure that there are other entrances, but those you would need to find for yourself.
Noted.
At
Do
that
go on.
point, you will need to find some way to either reclaim this shard from Keenscale or kill her outright and destroy it there. It is not an easy job.
Does not sound it. Well, that's all good information. Do you have anyone, I suppose, contacts of sort? How do you obtain this type of information, I suppose?
Which? About the dwarves?
Well, I suppose about all of this. I know it seems more common knowledge at this point.
Well, there are many dwarves that pass through here from Colteron. Not recently, but in the past couple of weeks.
Right. But is there anyone that you currently know? Any names of people? You said it's something of a resistance.
There is currently dwarves in Colteron who are resisting actively.
Right.
The only person who I have personally met here from the north, that far north, actually even beyond, there is a wood elf here named Ysera,
Here, at the academy.
somewhere within the library. She's doing research. Apparently,
Ysera?
huh?
Ysera?
Ysera. So Yesyra.
Okay.
Being born so near the squall, she has been touched with some kind of tempest magic. And she searches
at
for answers. If you can find her, if she has not already left, perhaps she would know more. There may be dwarves from Colteron here. There have not been recently. Those who did not escape earlier, unfortunately, are still
Stuck.
there. Yes.
Let's say stuck. Let's
As
be
it were.
optimistic. Anything to add? Any questions? Things like that? I mean,
Goodbye.
obviously, it seems like we should ask Sarah if she's still here. You said a half elf from the north?
She is a full
Wood
wood
elf.
elf. Yes,
I'm sorry.
As far as I know. Nice. If a bit naive, very young.
Y'all's?
Do you know where she's from particularly?
All that I know is that she comes from a small village south of the Squall.
Alright. Well, we should probably get going. I'm pretty full.
This does seem like enough information to at least...
I'll go see Crippig.
Huh? Well, sure. I mean, that's on the way out of one way. We can double back. It's fine. Any... Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can go see the crypt.
I am right here. So you
See,
can just
we
speak.
And he informed us of the
yeah.
crypt.
I also
We're
told
gonna go
you
see
about
the Crippig.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cryptid.
Cryptid.
Yeah, the Crippig.
It's not worth correcting him, is it?
No, it's not.
It's
All right.
You
can
saw
see the
my
cryptid.
2 futile attempts immediately in front of you.
It is
You're
a.
wise.
There are some people who do not get along well with the cryptid.
Sure.
So I would be cautious. He's making very meaningful eye contact to you right now.
Right. I will hang back. That is fine.
Interacts with him.
I will hang back. It is...
He is very much like obviously saying,
with-
"Don't let Gunter near this
right,
creature."
right. I got that.
Before you leave, if you decide to go to Colteron, please come see me first. I have something for you.
All of us.
The royal you.
Wonderful. Does anyone else have any other questions before we go and see the cryptid?
So we gotta go there, and we gotta go find this thing, kill this dragon, and then come back.
The shard is the important part, not just the dragon. Obviously,
Yeah,
to protect the dwarves that are
yeah.
up there, but
Yeah, okay. No questions.
But actually very important. The shard. The thing
Yes.
that you completely omitted. The central piece of this entire thing.
again, don't worry about
But
correcting
I
him.
am a little bit.
Correcting him much as...
I got it.
I understand your point.
It's
Yes.
the broad brushstrokes, I'll go do the thing.
Okay.
We have a deal.
Please come see me before you go.
Of course.
Thank
We're
you.
Of course.
helping you, helping us.
He walks over.
And I
completely ignoring what you're saying now.
get you as
And
you're
he
still
opens the
talking to
door.
him.
Grab something to eat off the table before I go.
Yeah, sure. You just kind of yank off
After
another
saying,
piece
"Oh,
of
I'm so
chicken.
stuffed." all right.
Little road turkey.
Yeah.
So you head out and into the main stacks.
In the direction of the... Oh, Gunter, did you return your book?
Oh no!
Please.
Just put it on the ground.
Just
I-
drops
like,
it right to the ground. And
I
you
pick
hear-
it up.
Okay, you pick it
I
up and
pick
you hear
it up.
footsteps, and Kita comes up, and she looks like she was ready for this.
I hand it to her.
She's waiting for you guys to
I
come out.
hand it to her. I'm like,
Thank
you.
You're really good at your job.
thank
Gina.
you.
This isn't my job in any way.
But thank you, I suppose. Oh, you know what? We're passing by. I'll drop it off, unless you were heading that way too.
I can put it back.
Okay. Thank you.
She takes the book and heads off into the stacks.
You're really good at
You
your
guys-
job.
going to
You guys-
follow her, actually.
Okay. Are you doing it stealthily?
Not in a obvious way, but not hidden.
Okay.
Like break off from the group when she breaks off from the group kind of thing?
What about the rest of you guys?
Slowly meandering to the... I mean, I'm going to look around now that it's daytime. I want to
Okay.
see what this whole place is about, because it seems really cool.
So you're heading towards
Me too.
the creepy cryptid, and you are...
It's like as soon as we get outside, I'll look around and if anything catches my interest.
Sure, make a perception check.
Cool.
I want to play with the tree again.
And
Okay.
I'm just gonna be following you. 'Cause
yeah, you tap my shoulder. I got
I'm
it.
just
I got it.
All right, we're heading to the cribbing. Let's go.
The cribbing.
Oh my god. Perception. Hell yeah. Thanks.
MTV cribs.
16.
16.
Third best
Looking
perception
for
roll in a whole
anything-
year.
My passive.
I remember my 3. I had a 21 thanks to you. I had a 18 thanks to you, and I had a 16 thanks to you. And they've all been on useless shit.
Guidance.
Looking for anything particular?
I just anything that stands out. Most of the buildings are probably similar.
Yeah, so what you would notice standing out then is this building that was referenced as where the cryptid lives.
Of course, well,
Entirely
we were already
different
heading there.
architecture.
We saw it on the way in, though. I feel like I would see something Well,
Well, I mean, the rest of the things are crafted out of what is this sort of like
the
brick.
native stone.
What?
Native stone kind
Right.
of.
So brick, and then this native stone that's been kind of put over it,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of the structures seem uniform in their design and their aesthetic.
How about function?
I'm sorry.
Function? Anything stand out that way?
So there's only 4 other structures on this. There's the main library.
Right.
There's this dormitory
That
building.
we've already seen.
The far right, like far off in the right hand corner, you would need to get closer to really see much more of it. Similar squared building, 2 stories as far as you can tell. Looks from this distance, you would you roll 16? From this distance, you probably couldn't really tell what it is. And then, like closest to you, there is a very, very large, open planned kind of building. It looks like it's not quite finished yet.
Okay.
There are elements of it that are finished, not all of it.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Pointing
Okay.
to the cribbing hut.
Yeah, it's like this
Yeah.
really short, squat, ugly looking building.
And I'll just like briefly cast a glance at that orb thing. Try to really discern in the daylight if it's different or what it
What
is.
are you looking at?
Interestingly.
The giant glowing orb thing that was up there last night.
Interestingly, it doesn't appear to have moved. The snow does not gather upon it. And the light that it sheds is fairly constant. You think for a little bit and you remember there was a bar that you were in one time that did have a drift globe, a green one, floating above it to provide light. And this is like a much bigger version of this. You would also remember
Uh-huh.
that a drift globe
Yeah.
does reveal
Yeah.
certain magical writings and hidden things. And so probably it is also there as a little bit of a defense mechanism.
Okay.
You remember
Cool,
as you
smart.
entered feeling this weird tingling
Right.
sensation.
Would I gather that that's the source of its...
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I shoot it with an arc. No, I'm just kidding. No. I
I have something ready for that.
Yeah.
if you're
No.
ready.
Don't you fucking worry. I'm not doing that.
It's designed for guiding bolt, but I
Yeah. It's fine.
That's good. 'Cause
I turn right around, realizing that my gaze has strayed from Gunter for a moment, and just try to collect
I'm
him.
like starting. To
I'm following
you see like a toddler Gunter's arms out.
And I like grab them and I just like put him down by his side. I'm like, no.
Oh, we're going over to the.
We are, yes. You don't need to walk like a zombie. It's fine.
I'm walking.
You don't get to be 287
Wait,
years without
where
walking.
did Shay go?
Speaking of which,
Yeah,
Shay.
yeah. See, he's hello.
you walking through the stacks follow her. She goes back to the section where Gunter obtained this book, and you can see she rifles through the different tomes, and very furtively kind of looks around and then puts it back in the right spot. And then she turns. Oh, hi.
Hi. I had a question for you.
Okay.
I am of the Zinyi. Are there others of my order who have been through
There
recently?
was, yes. Dressed a little bit differently, but yeah.
Addressed how?
Well, like you, but just different colors with purple and like a kind of brassy looking color.
Did they give their names by
No.
chance? How long ago was this?
Was it's Friday? So I thought about this actually, and I was gonna do like different names for each of the days, but then I thought that gets way too confusing. So it is essentially Friday.
Tear dust, morn dust.
I thought about it, but it is essentially Friday. About 6 days ago,
How many?
7 or 8, but they went in 2 different directions when they did split up.
Upon leaving or arriving?
Well, 4 of them went on sort of in the direction of Port Quinn, and then the other 4 went off kind of towards the mountains.
Did they stay long or look up anything?
They were here for maybe a day. I don't think they stayed the night.
Interesting. Any others? Recently?
There was a tiefling with them.
Curious. Dressed the same?
No, different. That's why I think it's kind of interesting.
Yes.
The others were different too. They were human, and there's an elf. I think there might have been a dwarf. A couple of different people, but the tiefling stood out. He wasn't dressed like them.
And the rest were?
Dressed like themselves, yes.
Curious.
Why?
Just trying to get a sense. I've been away from home for a while.
Oh, well, welcome back to the north. I'm sure it's nice being back amongst the snow.
It is. I've missed it.
Do you have any other questions?
No, that will be all for now.
Okay. And she turns and heads back in the direction of doing non-Gunter related work.
And I'm going back to my Gunter related work.
Okay. So you start heading back, start listening for like loud sounds and smelling for bad smells. But you make your way back in that direction. As you're making your way back, you guys are heading towards the cryptid.
Cryptid, yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it. I'm gonna just like kind
I
of
assume I'm
hold
ahead of
Gunter
them.
back
Okay.
a little bit.
So as you guys are kind of doing
Well,
this,
because I was
Mormon,
originally following him, but then he
Yeah,
held
you
him
went- you
back,
went
and
ahead,
I
that's
just
true.
kept going.
I'm
So-
going to make a concerted effort before we even approach to tell Gunter that Boron was warning you, or warning me, that this creature might be somehow dangerous to you or take offense to you. Please, if at all possible, respect your elders.
I respect my elders.
Okay.
Why would I say respect your elders if you don't respect your elders?
Right. I just
Respect your elders!
just please keep that in mind.
I know what I'm doing.
Morwen, you approach this short, squat, unremarkable stone building, almost an eyesore
We're gonna make another
amongst the
enemy
beautiful
today.
trees and buildings of the rest of the academy. Nestled between the beautiful trees sits the creepy cryptid's coinery. It is a single, squat iron door that sits stubbornly in place. As you approach the door, it is very unusual. There is no knob. There are no other features except for 6 or 7 long strips of iron that appear to be almost like tiered slats so that you could open this window to different sizes.
Okay.
Next to that, there is carved into the stone in Common, Elvish, Dwarvish, and 2 other languages that you do not recognize.
What are they?
The words "knock for service, be patient." You're not there.
I thought it was there.
You're underway, but she went ahead when you guys started doing your thing. What do you do?
I knock.
Okay. Big, heavy knocks on this iron door.
Oh no, I don't want to
Okay,
like
well,
bang.
It's still.
But
I
I'm
mean,
gonna be
even
like,
even the little
polite,
ones. It
but-
is. You hear the echo. It's large on the inside.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like maybe this is a very deep room. Minute goes by. 2 minutes go by. The 2 of you catch up. About 3 minutes go by.
What are the other languages?
As you approach, you come to this door and you see that there is a sign with a whole variety of languages. And as they change and each of them comes to read the same thing to you,
Sure.
you can tell that they are, 1 second,
Common, Elvish, Dwarvish.
Common, Elvish, Dwarvish, Infernal, and Aran.
Orin. Oh.
Wait, what's
Do I know the
Orin?
origin of Orin?
It's
probably
primordial.
not
It's a
familiar.
primordial
I'm
language.
gonna
Okay. But I don't think I
knock.
know
Be
that.
like, did you already knock?
Yeah. Stop.
Okay.
You said be
Gunter.
patient.
Gunter. Please.
Why? It says please knock.
I did.
Well, I did it before you.
Another minute goes by. Another 2 minutes. Shay, at this point, you're within eyesight of this building. And at this point, Morwen, you hear a series of heavy, throaty coughs. Kind of like this.
I back up from the door a little bit because that sounds gross.
And then suddenly there's this, like, as this one of these slots, like, scrapes open, rusty metal on metal. And you see before you a single purple irised eye, seemingly ensconced in magical darkness.
Do I see that too?
Yeah, you guys are here now as well.
Is that eye familiar at all?
Nope.
No. Nothing to do with the weird creature that we saw in that desert temple
Make an intelligence check.
long time ago.
Do I know
The purple
anything?
one-eyed
Have I
creature that
seen
was
anything
spying
like
at
this
us.
before?
Make a history check.
Oh, okay, 19.
No.
Damn it! Damn it!
Also 19.
Gunter,
Unless it's
you
made of stone.
have not seen anything that's not made of stone. You have not seen this eye is not made of stone. You have not seen anything like this before.
Okay, noted.
Yeah, I'm the crypty creepid. fuck off if you have questions. I don't want to ask or I don't want to know what am I. I don't want you to ask me why I've been here for so long. I have 5 things to sell you. Do you want to know what they are?
Please.
All right. Look, I got a potion. It's made out of the blood of something. It's going to give you the ability to spit venom from your mouth onto something else, possibly multiple times. A little bit of a bug. It makes you look kind of like a bug. The only thing.
All right.
You interested?
Is your name Casey?
Perhaps.
Kinda shifts
But let's
over. What?
let's hear the rest.
Casey Apple.
All right.
Let's hear them all, and I'll let you know.
All right. These little guys, I got to say, got something of a soft spot for them. Little bits of metal, you throw them on the ground. Caltrops, right?
What?
Wrong. Not caltrops, because if you take these and you shout out, and actually you see the eyes suddenly kind of turn and shift and disappear, and you hear like a little something closing. The eye suddenly appears again on the slot. I had to put it away or it would do it. But if you shout out yippee, they sprout out legs and they'll follow something around, making sure that they trip over them. Real effective, only one use, but something cool. Cooked it up myself. All right, now I made a ring. You might be interested in a ring. You're a pretty tabaxi. Tabaxis love shiny things. Look, it looks like a goat's head, and I get an infernal being and a goat. It's kind of on the nose. Traditional iconography really sells. If you wear this ring, you can put it on and eat literally anything, and it will taste just like human flesh or whatever it is that you like to eat. Finally, have you ever wanted to sell your soul to the devil just to be a little bit better at games of chance and throwing darts and all things like that?
Thought about it.
Now you don't even need to do it. I got this pair of bracers, and they smell real bad. They reek to the hells of ale and kind of old bars, but they'll make you better at darts. They'll make you better at games of chance. Anything that falls into kind of a carousing category. That being said, they don't smell very good, so just keep that in mind. And the last thing I got, I gotta be honest, I don't even really want to sell it. But this little guy's name is Chi, and the eye disappears again. And suddenly, coming out of this door, there's this, and this dark tendril, ensconced with radiating red and purple light, unfurls itself out of this portal. And as it unravels, you see within it this little rat. And it's just sitting there, and you see it kind of
I see Morin.
just looks at you.
I see Morin Lake's face. I'm just like,
So, look, he's a rat, right? And he'll do pretty much whatever you want to tell him to do. Bearing in mind, he's a rat. So, he can't, do math and things like that. But he'll do what you ask him. And on top of that, if you're holding him and you say, it's party time, and as he says that, the tail goes stock straight, and all of a sudden there is a silver goblet in this tendril. You can use him as a drinking receptacle. And if you wanted to turn him back, I had to pick a word that I would never say naturally. So if you just say please, and suddenly it pops back into a rat.
Does the
It
rat
just
understand
comes-
English?
Common.
Are you asking me or are you
Common.
asking him?
Him.
Yeah, he understands pretty much any language you want to speak to him. It's a magical rat. He will die if you kill him. So don't, put him in enclosed spaces without oxygen. Or eat him, you're a tabaxi. Anyways.
How much for the rat?
Chi? I like Chi. But I
like
do
Chi
owe
too.
some pretty bad devils some pretty large amounts of coin. I'll tell you what. 600 gold pieces and I'll give you Chi. It's a rat that turns into a cup. That's pretty awesome.
I turn around to you guys and I'm
no, that's so much money.
Is
I
it?
do all
It's a lot.
for the.
You can see the eyes shifting in the
Do you remember-
darkness around.
Do you
kind
remember
of
the
like
cold
looking.
harp?
Sure.
Yeah, that's like 2 of the cold harps worth. You could buy.
Can I
make
speak
2
to
of
Chi
them.
for a second? Will he? Does he?
For a
Talk,
rat?
does he talk? Does he converse?
Again, kind of a rat, so no, unless tabaxis talk to
equating
rats, and
that
that's something
value
I'm
to
not really familiar with.
What? Is he still holding him out?
Yeah.
All right. I go up to Chi. I'm like, "Are you happy?"
And you see the little whiskers kind of move. Make a
Animal
animal
handling.
handling check. Yeah,
there
I've
it
been
is.
for a while.
First one in a long time.
Yeah, since Kobe.
3.
The discs,
Yeah.
right?
Hard to
Yeah.
read. He's a rat.
I mean,
but
I
he
get the
does seem to kind of
concept,
shy away from you, and you realize, you're holding out this large, dark, furred paw that does have claws, and you do look kind of like a cat, and he is a rat.
How much for the? I want to know about the bug spit and
the bug spit.
and the little chirpy things.
All right, the potion, the one that you were talking about before, it's only one use,
So-
and it does have some problems.
When
I can let it
use
go for 150 gold
the guy
pieces.
tending the goats. That much gold.
And the caltrops, the galloping caltrops, you can only use them one time, 50 gold pieces, but they're real effective for the price. So, do you want them? I got other things to do. I'm a busy demon.
I'll go for the traps.
All right. And so,
Smelled this.
all of a sudden, the tendril and she just
How the world runs.
into the door.
This.
And
Would
suddenly,
you, Joe, mind sending me a?
I'll give you a card.
Yeah.
And there's a little leather bag that comes out.
How many?
You can add it's a bag of
weird,
caltrops.
I
It's the galloping caltrops.
That is weird.
It's one use.
Of course,
and
I
when
guess
you
you'll
throw
think
them-
my weird world is weird too.
One sec, I'll tell you exactly what they do.
What are you saying?
The galloping caltrops. They're a wondrous item. When you spread them on the ground, you can speak their command word, which is yippee.
Yippee!
Each of them grows 4 tiny horse
realize
legs
she
and
now
follows
has
a creature
to
you
not
choose. For the next creature, or follow a creature you choose or the next creature that enters the area. They have a speed of 30 feet. They can move 1d6 times before coming just regular caltrops.
Okay.
How much for those magical gambling bracelets?
Yeah, it shifts down
The
to you
stinky
for
wrists.
a second and kind of...
The stinky wrists.
Please don't.
I'm sorry. Was that not the description you gave
The
us?
tavern
sir?
braces, yeah, I could probably part with those for and you got to understand these things they're gonna pay for themselves. I mean, you're gonna make a ton of coin off.
Yeah,
these.
but they
Just bang.
smell like shit.
Yeah, well, so do you. So it's kind of
Turn to
fitted. for
Heinrich
you.
and be like, he's used to that.
Are they cursed or anything?
To be fair, it would probably blend into
I
this
mean,
character.
what do you mean,
I look
curse?
him in the big eyeball.
Make a insight check.
It's Hunter. He already stinks.
You gonna guidance yourself or what, boy?
Boy, I've never seen Gumball, but I'm
17.
gonna watch it.
Oh, Gumball. Gumball's cool.
Curse is a strong word. I mean, it's gonna probably get you addicted to gambling because that, you're gonna be real good at it. But is that a bad thing? Is that really a curse? Hey, if you had a monstrous penis, right? Would that be a curse?
Time for that.
Well, that's very clear. All right. So the
Add that to
tiny
the
dick
clip
dwarf
list.
doesn't want the gloves. Anybody else? Anything? We got a couple things left here. Anybody? Cat lady.
I'm going to give him 3 gold pieces.
All right.
Buy Chi some food. He looks skinny.
That's so much food. Holy shit.
There's and the tentacle comes out, this inky, otherworldly tentacle, and you place the gold pieces.
No.
in it.
I want to see Chi. I want to give it to him.
He's a fucking rat.
Yeah, he'll give it back to you.
Make a
He's
persuasion
cute.
check.
He's cute. Okay.
Wow, nice.
27.
Fucking god.
You asked the
Goobian
roll.
better be happy about this fucking gold, and then all of a sudden again,
What was the name?
Chi.
No. What was the name? I would have listened. I would have heard
there
that. I was
is
taking my
a
headphones
rat that is now out. I'll send it in your load.
Yeah.
There's a rat that is now out there.
God damn it.
And the rat kind of like shies away from these little gold pieces, but there's now 3 pieces of gold in a tentacle with the rat.
I check in my bag and I look at my rations and I look for a little crumble of like cracker.
Sure. You find a little piece of this dried bread and you put it in there as well. And she, as the tentacle comes out, you can see she just kind of starting. And he goes to eat it as it disappears into the darkness. All right. Are you happy now? The rat's well taken care of?
Yeah.
Great. Fantastic. If you want to buy him, he's 600 gold. Again, don't care if you don't because I really want to keep him. He's cute. He's good.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
like
good
him too.
rat.
Take care of him.
I do. He's got a
I
whole
believe
little
it.
house down here.
Oh.
I build things. It's what I do, okay? Anyways.
On that note, actually, do you have anything that you weren't particularly trying to offer today? Anything else?
Make a persuasion check.
Yeah, make him
Thinking
build shit
maybe
for
he's got
us.
some better non-cursed
Is every
stuff.
time you touch me, can I just assume that's guy?
Guidance.
Okay.
In real life, too.
Oh, what a wasted guidance.
That's not great.
8.
You remember when I said before I had 5 things
Yeah,
to say?
yeah, yeah,
And then I
alright,
just
alright.
named 5 things.
Okay.
The numbers
enough
go
said.
1.
No, enough said.
2.
Enough said.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah,
3.
yeah, enough said.
There's 2 left.
Yeah, I got it. 4, 5. I get it.
He's not done. Let him finish.
Thank you. 4, 5.
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
None of those things interest me. Thank you very much.
That's all he had to say. He doesn't get it.
I think young people sometimes they
Kids
don't quite
these
understand.
days, you know, you gotta-
Exactly.
I just
They
kind
don't
of.
get it.
You
They
know
gotta
what?
respect that elder.
I
You
put
know
one of
what?
these on and go. Wah, wah.
You know what? I appreciate your style, dwarf. If you want these tavern braces, 200 gold pieces. I'll knock off some money for you.
400. Oh, that's just about. What do you say to 175?
Nah, not even a little bit. I'm gonna make more of a
All
deal
right,
for you. But
200. Let's deal.
all right.
Oh
So
shit!
he
Actually,
reaches out that tentacle. You put the gold in it, curls back in, and then out come these 2 grimy ass looking leather bracers.
Before I do, well, I'll walk away. But
You know about magic that it repels this kind of stuff, and so looking at this is like very purposely put in grime. Like this is part of the design.
okay.
They do reek of old stale beer,
Oh man, I'm
like some kind of a not like a good beer.
I don't
I
notice the
can't like
change.
freeze it or anything.
I don't notice the change either.
Okay, that's
Yeah, yeah. with-
Your character actually like perfect.
great.
But these are the tavern bracers. They're a wondrous item. While wearing these ale-soaked leather bracers, you have proficiency with darts, and you gain darts, throwing axes, any kind of tavern
Nice.
game.
Great.
And you gain a +2 bonus to downtime carousing rolls.
Then
Downtown.
Note that
I'll give
down.
you a-
The
I'll give you a
stinky
card.
wrists.
The stinky
Do I sense any other negative magics?
Make an Arcana check, unless there's a spell you would like
Probably
to
gonna
use.
be- well, not yet, but probably just gonna.
Only if something bad happens
'Cause-
first.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to.
When it's too
if
late.
I use dispel magic, can I target just the curse without?
Gunter
ridding
has
it of
no idea.
offense? Oh god. That's ooh.
That's not
Was
bad.
it Arcana?
Yeah.
That's not great.
Not bad.
12.
12? As far as you can tell, this thing is just a stinky magical item.
All right. I guess. Yeah, I think I'm gonna dispel magic as I grab them, and I'm gonna think like any curses I want. So I'm thinking, I'm
God, are you
suspecting
gonna,
that this
are
guy
you gonna just
is
waste
cursed
200
them.
gold where you just like undo the.
Gotta look up dispel magic real
It
quick.
lasts. It has a duration.
I just want to look at the.
Also has a
It's a DC.
spell level.
Okay.
Yeah.
It can affect. So depending on what spell it was cast at.
Yeah.
Although I feel like enchanting
Okay.
is usually really strong.
As you grab this as you grab this pair of bracers, there is this sort of crackle, almost lightning, that shoots from your fingers and wraps around this item.
Okay.
The cryptid's eyes kind of squint, and you hear from behind this doorway, "Ha! That was stupid!" And you now can mark that within your inventory you have a pair of just stinky bracers.
No.
fucking thought.
However, Gunter can now note that it is really difficult to target dispel magic.
Oh no, so my things might be. Well,
No,
No,
They were real.
He just undid the spell that was on the
oh,
bracers.
oh. I
Yeah.
thought. Okay, I misunderstood.
Is it permanent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so there's still laughter
I mean,
behind
in all
this door.
fairness,
And he's
there,
like, wow,
again,
what a
there's no
fucking
difference.
idiot.
You're no worse off, Gunter.
Maybe
Hey,
this
I
is
had
what
some food that I ate a
Boron
little
meant.
while ago. Do you want to buy it now? No. You sure?
He's gonna literally make you eat shit.
Because that was pretty dumb. If you're going to throw your money away, I can give you a bunch of different things to throw it away on. I think I have some old paper down here. I have some rocks.
Oh man, I'm so close to like
I have cheese, brother.
guiding bolt thing
No.
inside.
Your cheese brother.
Yeah, he's dead. But the dwarf buys dumb things and then just throws it away anyways. So.
Grab
Gunter,
your shoulder a little
no,
bit.
let's both grab his hands and walk him away like a toddler. who like literally just like broke something he just bought.
Please give Cheese Brother a proper burial.
You can
Rats
very
get
much
very
expect
depressed.
an elbow to the
I was
face
gonna make a
if you're thinking
necklace
about
out of his
anything.
bones, actually, because I think it would look pretty nice, and I had some ideas about making a protection enchantment out of it.
Oh shit! Well, if that's ever for sale, I'll be back.
I mean, if you want to buy it ahead of time, I can make it for you.
Nope, don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare. Don't you
You
fucking
do
dare.
you, and if I come back,
Are you familiar with protection magic? I mean, that's pricey, and that's hard to get.
Protection.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
this
really got
guy's
a problem
a
with
punk.
money.
Let's
All
get
right.
out of here.
We're
Respect
already
your
walking
elders.
away with you.
Yeah, I mean, turning that around and be like,
Do you say that?
no, you don't. No, you fucking
No,
don't.
you
No, you fucking.
We're marching you away.
As he starts to say respect your, I like pull on his arm, almost
Yank him
dislocating it
away.
out of the
Okay.
socket.
There's an elbow very close to your face.
You guys make your way out of
Yeah.
the creepy cryptid.
And
Or
we're
away
heading,
from. You never went inside. But, yeah, so
we have to go back to Boron. He had something for us before we head north. We should head north, and I would like to ask you if you have a better option, maybe a little more expedient than 13 days in this beautiful but very uncomfortable climate.
maybe we should go back and buy
For
the
you.
rat.
No. We're done. We're done.
you
with
see that none of what you just said made it through Morwen, and all that she's thinking about is that rat.
I mean, I know
Ta-da!
that. I know that as a human
And
who
it's-
knows
it's
Allie.
a rat
who, like,
in,
lives with
an
Allie.
imaginary like wooden castle
Beautiful little wooden palisade and towers and a
and
keep.
cute little like
Look, you
eyes
have
and
a rat right
three-faced
there.
rat.
You have a rat right there. That's
It's
great.
cheap.
Yeah, it's great. You can have them whenever you want. You don't need to spend money on that. 600 gold.
I'm walking around like this
600
petting the
gold.
rat, but it looks like I'm just
People are
I'm
just
sad.
giving. I mean, you also have armor that looks like it has a rat in a wooden castle on it, so
Wait,
also
people
very
are looking
peculiar.
at us?
Yeah,
You
it's
guys are
daytime.
like walking now in the daytime across this like very respectful
Put that away.
campus, and just back to your regular.
600 gold though. Like you should see what I've done to
You're right,
the,
I'll go
the
back
cold
and steal
heart
it.
for
You're
much
right.
less money.
Yeah,
It's
let's
fine.
go steal that stuff back. I want some. You give
Gunter.
me just smelly
Gunter, you
braces.
stink.
There's these things. I'm getting rid of them. They're
Toss them
trash.
out. You see into the snow.
Yeah.
There's just like a as they just land and sink into the heavy
Stinky
drift.
braces.
Um.
I gotta say, I respect my elder because
Yeah, he got you.
I got caught.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of stinky braces.
You know what?
Apparently-
He was a good scammer. We could learn a lesson from him.
Literally didn't scam you guys, but all right.
I'm going
You
along
guys
with it
scammed
because
yourself?
I mean on the meta level, duh, but like as characters, I didn't see him cast that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's go to Boron. Let's see the
In
thing
terms
he
of
has to give us.
Planning our route, I'd prefer not to do it in the open.
Yeah, of course. But let's at least go see what he has to offer us. He said he had a parting gift of some kind or something to give us, whether it be information or whatever.
Lead the way.
And I do. Unless anyone else.
I follow.
You lead the way going through the snow and now passing people heading to the library or exiting from. There are carts that are coming to and from, bringing people presumably from Gulliver's Bay or points south. You do not notice anybody coming from the north.
Right. I mean, I would assume that much at this point.
Sure. You eventually make your way back to Boron's office. He is there, still eating. At this point, roughly an hour and a half later, kind of picking at a lot of this turkey is gone. This
Yeah.
entire turkey. But as you walk in, you've returned.
Yes, we're about to depart. You said before we leave we should visit
Yes.
you again.
I had a thought after talking to you, and he pulls open the larger drawer on the right side of his desk. Sort of like the whole bottom of it is just one large drawer. Reaches in and removes a wrapped, what looks like maybe a bowl. This is part of a matching set. If we come up with information that could be of use to you, or you find things out that may be of use to us, fill this with water, speak the words that I will give you, and you will be able to communicate with me, or I with you.
Wonderful. Do we need to have water in it for you to communicate with us?
No, the bowl will begin to glow. If you notice that it glows, fill it with water.
Okay. That's incredibly useful.
Yes, and expensive. So if
I'll
you
take
could
care of it.
return it.
Oh, of course. I mean, this is no simple. No, I mean,
Do you-
nowhere. I take it
Okay.
well above
Surprisingly
their heads.
heavy. And as you kind of unravel it, it's a stone bowl.
Okay.
It is this sort of almost like alabaster white stone.
Stone cutting.
Make a stone cutting check.
It's alabaster. Yeah, asshole.
It's not.
Well, it's the color. It's not.
That's a 20.
Okay. It's actually a mineral. It's Tarkanite. Very, very specifically from sort of the ancestral, or what the Dragonborn consider their ancestral homeland. Really hard to come by in Dominion. Specifically, Tarkanite has magical properties that make it very, very useful for divination spells.
Now, is this incredibly fragile, or mildly fragile, or not fragile at
It is
all?
not fragile
Okay.
necessarily. Just do not misplace it.
Oh, well, that's easy enough, and I just put it in the haversack.
Okay.
Like, got one of these, and just... Whoom.
I also have a bag.
Check this out. No, just kidding. I'm not going to do that. This bag stays on my back. That's what I was intent. Yeah. It. Never mind. Moving on.
Moving on.
That is very useful. Thank you very much. Of course, if we have any questions, is that okay to...
That is the purpose of this.
Good.
gift,
Good.
yes.
A lifeline. Okay, wonderful. Was that it? Was there anything else that we all needed to know? Anything you need of us? Any other...
I'm thinking about the rat, so I don't know.
I'm
As
thinking,
we head north...
now I really need a good scam in.
as we head north, is there
I got
any rumors of
oh, my damage.
dangers upon the road? Obviously, you said the illusory nature of things, but more... I mean, obviously, when we came here, I mentioned the knoll to you,
Yes.
but...
So, in terms of dangers that you might face on the way,
Right.
there are things that I could suggest. When you do, there are wolves. There are winter wolves, which are much larger than normal wolves that you might be acquainted to. In the north, they're fairly common, but very dangerous in large numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Be cautious of them. We are expecting some kind of weather, like a blizzard, that will come in within the next 3 days. If you are traveling north, within the next 2, perhaps. So be cautious of that. A blizzard here is not like a blizzard where you're from.
I'd look over to Shay.
When you reach the River of Colors,
Dangerous to traverse?
no, it should be frozen over this time of year, and it is beautiful. But there are creatures that do live within it. Incredibly rare, and it's a long river, so the likelihood of running into one, very unlikely. But there is a creature called a Shrenyu.
Yes.
Best to be avoided. Don't disturb the ice, and you will be fine.
Describe it.
They are large, gray-skinned, bipedal creatures with massive claws. They have
That live in the water and bipedal.
Avoid the
They are-
shadow. Got it.
they are aberrant creatures. They are not from
Alright.
this plane, but they have come to reside within this river.
Is it a portal of some kind?
Not as far as I know. But again, this is a very large river and goes well beyond our borders, deep into the north. It's fed from several hot springs. And so the colors are actually different deposits of minerals that do not combine well, and they create these channels and eddies of beautiful colors.
Wonderful.
There is lots of plant life, and because of this, the actual temperature of the water, probably a lot of things for the Shrenyu to eat.
Noted.
Alright. So
Those are the only dangers of note.
Well, once you
mean-
get into the mountains themselves, there are rock that make that place their home. 90-foot wingspans, massive creatures.
I've heard stories.
We have heard the shriek of dragons
Well, yes,
within the
that's-
mountains, beyond just that of Keen Scale. There are yeti that live in the mountains as well. I mean, the dangers are uncountable.
Innumerable?
And if you
Sure.
have a Zinyi amongst you, I'm sure that she could tell you better than us.
There's so many things.
Okay.
she'd probably make weird ambiguities, though.
Hey, come now.
Oddly
We're
specific.
attempting to form a little better of a bond here, Gunter.
Says
I
the
just
one
lost
who walked
200
out.
gold.
Yes, I apologize for that earlier. I took the blow to the face in stride and accepted it. It was rude of me to leave.
I tell you what, Gunter, if we encounter something dangerous, I'll point it out to you.
After we've encountered it.
Danger's my middle name. It was Gunter Danger something.
Anywho,
Enter danger, problem,
problem, trouble.
Trouble.
something like that.
And then there's another one. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, solid.
All right.
One
Well,
of
if
my
that is all,
checks out.
then how about any stopping points along the way? This route used to be well traveled. Obviously, not so much anymore recently, at least. Is there any?
It was well traveled in the founding of the kingdom. This is called the Expansion Road, and there was plans for the kingdom of Sarentil to reach to the frost line. Unobtainable.
Right, but I guess more the direct question is known spots for travelers to stop at.
If you want to divert a little bit to the east and go through the frost line, there is a tavern there, apparently run by a very odd old woman.
Okay, I noticed that Shay's eyes are just like.
Second here,
Is her name Aunt?
no name that I'm familiar with.
Speaking of a scam.
Let's go rob an old woman in the woods.
Sounds right up Gunter's alley.
If so, not more than 8 days outside of here. Or not 8 days, 8 hours outside of here. There is a hot spring that is a popular destination to people when they would travel from the north. It's fed by one of the springs that feeds the River of Colors. Beautiful pinkish water that is apparently very good for the skin. You will notice benches around this area. It's fairly easy to find. Stopping points. That's all that I can think of before you reach Colteron. That's sort of the first spot.
And the very last thing.
For you. I've got it.
No, this is for all of us. Supplies of any kind. I mean, we are agreeing with your knowledge and help to rescue what we now all understand is probably a potential end of the
A
world.
little bit of upfront funding so that we can make our
I-
expedition
well,
without.
don't-
Perhaps some food for travel as well.
Make a persuasion check.
More or less
Or-
those types of things.
Either any two of you can make a persuasion check, or one of you can make it at advantage.
When I cut you off, it's because I was
Pretty
gonna.
persuasive.
When I cut you off, it's because I was gonna ask for food anyway.
We're
So
both pretty persuasive.
Okay.
I am +8 persuasive.
What do you guys want to do?
Oh shit.
I'm also gonna guidance you.
Okay, so
I'm like, ah.
Alright.
two of us, can my guidance count towards the advantage roll?
Wait,
Weird mechanical question. Like, can
for
my
you,
roll be
yes.
this because he guidanced, and then also her roll?
Her roll would not be guidance.
No. But like,
no, but can I roll?
if
and
we're
then
talking,
he roll
if
two
we're
with
talking
guidance,
about,
and
if we're
not
talking
just,
about like the
yeah.
two of
That's
us
fine.
rolling,
Yeah, that's fine.
okay, because that mathematically highest average.
Okay.
I got,
22.
Okay.
Wait,
I
that's
got
a lie.
I got a
It's not 22.
20
Okay.
with guidance.
Um,
So you're
Lauren's
there, you're
very
there,
persuasive.
you're there, just like leaning on my shoulder, being like,
You already said that I was charming.
It's
or
all
something.
three of you kind of like
Or
giving
endearing.
these
Call me
eyes, and
endearing.
Shay just like standing there in the
Yeah,
background.
well,
like,
of
You
course.
think I'm endearing.
yeah. No, that's fair.
I just go.
Yes. You make a good point. I do have. Reaches in, pulls out from the desk 2 bottles. One of them you guys are very familiar with. It's a healing potion.
Okay.
She hands to Gunter.
Oh, who wasn't even involved in the roll? That's cool.
Takes the other one. It is a much larger bottle. A little bit more
she.
ornate.
No, this is.
He takes
Oh, okay.
a much larger bottle. A little bit more ornate than the previous one. And this, as he hands it to you, he says, "This is a potion of greater healing."
My goodness.
Yeah,
No.
gives it to Heinrich.
No. I'm much taller than you. So we're bridging above you.
Probably not something needed by you or you, but perhaps for the two of you, a little bit more southern dwelling, something to keep you warm.
I got my. Yeah, why not?
Brings out the small drawer again that he originally had, the book about seashells, and you can see the
Greater
book of
healing
seashells
is what?
is there. A potion of greater healing.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. You're not gonna.
It's just it's an additional D4 onto a
Okay,
regular.
so three.
So it's the next tier.
Three,
up.
three,
So
4
it's
plus
just
3.
Yeah.
Another one of these.
But
Well,
plus one
half-
more dice. Yeah.
half- Yeah.
Yeah.
Another half.
Exactly.
Noted.
He pulls out two small, sort of silvery bands that seem to have black iron that has been either etched or like melted into these engraved rings. And he just kind of holds them out in general to the group.
A gesture to Morwin,
I'm gonna grab
who
all
didn't
of
receive
them.
anything.
Okay, so and
And
he
as
holds
I
it
do
out to
that-
Morwen, Gunter takes both of them.
I'm,
Oh, you wanted one. Here.
I have both
And
now.
as both of you touch there, okay, so you now have both, I guess.
Kept one.
No, he gave me. Wait.
I was gesturing to you to take them to
And then
at least-
he took them, and then he gave you one. So you each have one in your
Oh.
hands.
Oh, I thought. Okay, I thought you gave me yours. Okay.
As you hold them, the metal itself is very warm.
Oh shit!
These are rings of warmth.
Motherfucker. It's alright. I guess I have a warm source. I can make a bonfire and stuff.
So whichever two of you this would help, I would imagine probably the two of you, you with your natural
It's
You're
fur.
furry.
fur.
It's fur, or is it hair? Which type of? Never
It's
mind.
Fur.
Okay.
It's fur.
Okay.
Fur. And you being from here, I would imagine that you are fine as well. Whoever they're helpful for.
How about the
I'm
funding?
cold as shit. Would you mind?
The funding is something
please?
that will have to come once you've
You took most of the gold
accomplished
from
this,
the
as they can't
reward.
pull
Like
from.
a food
Back
stipend
in Port
or
Quinn, would you
anything?
mind just passing that over?
Again,
I might just wear it. And
I
make
could
you
provide some
friendly.
rations for the trip.
I mean, yeah, that's.
I
I,
hate-
guess that's something.
But
We'll take
I
whatever you've
don't.
got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Each of you can mark down 3 days of rations as well.
Okay. So that's now back up to 9 for me.
I am loaded in rations.
Have you actually been like reducing them as you eat them?
Yeah,
Well, I think that I've also been the main one trying to stock them all too.
you have.
Yeah. And I'm also the richest, so let's go.
Yeah, because you keep taking all the fucking rewards.
Sorry, I'm
That's
just good
okay.
at what I do.
It's rogues, man.
Fucking hate it.
So,
Fucking hate
what do
it.
you guys want to do?
Adventure.
Boron. Sorry. Thank you. For all the information. No, it's Boron.
My name is Boron.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I say Tada, and then on my armor says thank you, but I don't really know how to read or spell.
So it's
so
like
it's FANCU, but all in one.
Fancy you?
Funku. Funku. Funku this.
Thank you.
Make a general charisma check.
And we are off on
General charisma check.
Morwen's Bizarre Adventure.
Morwen's 9. But we are actually.
You are very odd.
Stop.
It is not entirely a bad thing.
I know. I mean, it's gotten us
No,
at least the
but
name.
you won't forget me.
You're the first Tabaxi to be here in 3 years, so no, I'm not going to forget you. Very uncommon.
3 years.
Oh, who was the last one here?
I was passing through to the west, I believe.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Bye.
Safe journeys to all of you.
Yes, thank you. And I will, and I like do the lift the backpack thing. We'll be in touch.
Please. And if we do find anything of interest or import, we will let you know as well. Be careful who you trust.
Right.
Yeah, including you.
And we.
That
and we
was-
walk away.
He's wise and old, and I just do like a
Well, he said it.
wink.
He said it.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to gain his trust even more.
Ah. Yeah.
That's what the
Don't
wink
worry,
was
we
for.
trust you though.
As long as you guys are able to obtain this shard or destroy it, trust is not required.
Right.
Alright.
We'll figure out a way to destroy it first, hopefully. And if you hear of anything, let us know.
We will.
Okay.
Good
Well-
luck, Finger Gang.
Yeah, you too.
It sounds so awful when other people say.
And he closes the door. You guys now out within the stacks of the library.
Well,
What do you guys-
I tada myself out of that
Yeah, sure.
whole
Back to
thank
normal.
you business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we?
We shall. Oh,
Once
sorry.
we at least leave the circumference of this place, I would like to hear your suggestion on how we should proceed.
So as you guys head to the north, kind of towards the other end of the Lorebinder Academy campus and towards where the path would lead you to the north.
Before we do that,
Sure.
because I remember everything being like pretty barren, right? Trees wise.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Can I just shimmy up like the tallest tree, even if they're magical and whatever,
Sure.
and see
Makes-
as much as I can see?
Makes a beautiful noise as you do so and make a
Oh, it's
perception
beautiful
check.
when she does it, but
When you throw a snowball at it,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
I'm kidding. So when you climb, it goes do 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 do.
No,
do,
I'm trying to think
do,
of a
do,
tune
do,
that I want
do,
on the way
do.
down.
Make a perception check.
Fuck, passive 14.
Okay. You look
14's
around
not
and
bad.
it is beginning to snow fairly hard again. So your vision's somewhat limited.
I guess I'm more looking for dangers of anything.
Okay, and you don't see any. I mean, it's really hard to see now. And again,
Plus we're
to
close.
the north, you're also looking at the trees grow a little bit taller and a little bit denser compared to what you've traveled through the sort of rolling hillside. So difficult to make out too far.
Okay. I shimmy down to the beat of
White winged dove.
Call Me Maybe.
Oh God.
Ding, 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 ding. And you make your way down.
No. I'm surprised you know that. I don't even.
I work with kids for a while.
Okay.
That's all he's got.
I love Taylor Swift so much.
It's Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oh shit. Hey, whatever.
It's okay. It's
It's
okay.
all for the kids. It's all for the kids.
I-
I read it
That
in
show-
a
that
Real
shows how much
Housewives
I
of
know about it.
Portland.
Exactly.
You
You
wouldn't
saved
know.
yourself in my book, dude. Don't worry about it.
That's all that matters. So you guys head off. I'm gonna get some more appropriate music.
Yeah.
As you
Is
guys
it going to
move,
be?
Shay, you saying anything about paths?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So we're walking and we pass outside, and I'm sure there's that mildly sickly feeling.
What would I know?
As you
of-
leave, no.
Okay. Wait, what did I drop off that? Well, never mind. Go ahead.
Well, I suppose leaving's not the issue if you don't have a book.
That's true. But entering, oh, that was a weird thing.
What would I know of the path from the Lorebinder Academy?
From the Lorebinder Academy, you've never traveled this path because there's a much faster route that you could take.
Yes.
However, you would know specifically what? What are you looking? Oh, other paths like alternatives. You would know getting
Fastest.
fastest.
Where
to
are
go
we
where?
going? First of all.
Well, what's our most pressing matter? Should we at least stop by? Is your home closer or is it farther than Colcheram?
A little farther.
It's a little farther.
Wait, do I?
Not-
Wait,
What is
Excessively.
Is
the
Craddock
smarter
at home?
move?
Yes.
Oh, I think we might need to stop by there.
I mean, that seems like it might be even safe. Is it safe there? You and this shadow you and your friend is good to
and he's
keep
got your
putting it.
little box or whatever.
I
We're
don't-
going to visit your friend.
Well, I would have
Before
told
we
you,
go
but
to
that's
Colcheram.
actually I wouldn't have told you that.
But
I'd be
I
like-
looked at it.
I'm
Yeah.
I've seen it. Well, I guess I don't know
not
that you
interested
know.
in finding them yet.
Okay, so we're just gonna go straight to Colteron.
We should at least see if Craddock made it back safely with.
I
I
think
agree. We should make sure that he's okay.
there could be
He's
things
probably fine.
at the monastery that would be beneficial.
Then let's head there first.
Yeah.
My tail's
The
going back and forth rapidly.
Snow is being like displaced from the air. As
But
you
I'm
do
just
it.
like cold as hell too. I'm like, hey, so that ring?
Oh, this one?
Yes.
As you put it on, you feel very warm. All of a sudden, it feels as if that biting wind subsides, and though you feel the wind go across your fur and your skin, it's a little bit warmer. It's nice.
And I'm cold
not
as
cold.
shit. Yeah, I'm quite cold.
I'm fine.
Putting mine on and being like,
Same thing. All of a sudden, the shiver subsides, and you feel as if you were standing in front of a warm fire. You can almost hear the crackling, and you feel like that radiant glow spread across your skin.
It wouldn't be wise to make me have to huddle next to you while we're traveling.
It's also worth noting, like even as you get closer, you don't feel this heat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. So then,
And then
I guess I wouldn't
mentally
even
think,
know.
Like,
I wouldn't
wait,
even know that.
What would Craddock think? What do I want? I don't know yet. Be nice.
And this ring hits you in the chest and drops.
And I just look down like,
No, I just.
That was a very strange exterior monologue that you just had there, and I bend down and pick it up and put
And
it
I
on.
look at you the whole time too, and like,
I'm just like, and
Yeah.
I put it
Oh,
on.
I got
And
it back.
instantly,
No, you don't. I put it on.
instantly it feels significantly better.
Yeah.
Same thing. That warmth
And
spreads
just like-
out, and you feel almost like a little kid wrapped up, like in a cold winter day in Port Quinn.
Right.
Very, very comforting. But you would know if you want to head to the monastery
Fastest yet safest for this group.
Right.
through the frost line. And the way that you would want to do it probably is cut through the Valley of Colors and then go due east, so that way you can avoid the small range where it gets a little bit mountainous. Go through the frost line, and you know that this will take you through the Forest of Dreams, which is probably the thinnest area of the frost line between the Feywild and the material plane.
Sorry, I got the cold iron. I'm immune to fate charm. Not immune, but whatever.
You have resistance to it. I mean, it's great. But that would be the fastest way.
Fastest yet safest for all of us.
So if we're doing
Would
an
take
Excel,
you-
if we're doing an Excel sort sheet,
Sure.
it's first safe, then fast.
That would mean going through. Let me look at my notes real quick. It would mean going
Lowest
through the valley.
CR.
Yeah. Okay. It would mean going through the Valley of Igor, which is like give or take about 3 days, and then getting to the River Colors, and then instead of going east, going due north across like maybe 8 hours with the plains, which brings you to the foot of Mount Taram. From there, you can either ascend it and then cut across some of the mountains and head towards the monastery, or you could go east there and go along the outer edge of the forest. A little bit safer. It's going to take you... It's adding 7 days onto the trip.
Oof. Fuck that. I think we're good if we go shorter.
You don't understand.
Yeah, but we can run and shit. We don't have to fight everything.
Would
I
you
don't-
like
I
me
don't
to
say
tell
that.
you
I
what
actually
we know
don't say
about
that.
these
That's
woods?
Heinrich. If there's a split, let's at least make it to the split and then make the decision. If
Nice
you know
and
that.
quick, in and out. We say hi to your friends, we keep moving on.
Fine. We'll make for the River of Colors, and from there, we'll decide.
Sure. And until that point, save and mull it over, and then tell us.
The frost line is not a safe place.
Nowhere's safe. That's what everyone keeps saying. Danger this, danger that.
For me to tell you this, Gunter, it is a dangerous
You say it all the
place.
time.
It is a dangerous
Gunter, to be
place.
fair, on this one, I trust her. This is her home.
Okay, well, let's go somewhere. It's starting to get. Oh, never mind.
All right, so we head at least towards the River of Color.
Well done. So as you guys are walking, what is your marching order? And who is keeping watch?
I mean, I'm
First,
gonna. Yeah, I was
like
gonna
we're
just
keeping
assume.
Make a survival check.
I'll be right behind, helping by
I'll get the end as.
using my eyes. I'm helping by using my eyes.
And I'm
Make
doing
it
like a
make it an advantage.
At advantage.
guidance.
No, it's just giving her advantage. You can run up and tap her butt, but I'm sure that would not really go well. Given how the dancing thing happened,
You would get
and
an
that
elbow to
was,
your face.
Yeah.
Guidance
What
from
do you
the
mean?
elm.
We did a phenomenal tango.
Wow, it seemed a little reluctant on one party's.
Yes.
Well, I didn't get hit about it.
What was your survival check?
Right, but if
19.
she
19.
if she were to have her butt slapped, anyone would probably be hit in the face.
Butt slapping's different.
Yeah.
You all head northward along a stepped path with scant areas, with old wooden fencing that does separate this dirt path from the wood. Although snow has fallen now and covered most of the dirt, and hangs heavy on the wooden posts. Actually, so much so, the snow is actually getting about halfway up on the entirety of these fences. It's getting deep, deep enough where if you were to go off this path, it would certainly be considered difficult terrain, slowing your progress. About 3 hours in, you notice that there are tracks that go across the path. What was your roll?
19?
The 19, 4 sets of tracks, 3 wolves, and then 1 much larger. You can see these paths sink deep into the snow. Probably a winter wolf.
Yep.
but they seem to be going to the east. And these tracks you can see slightly filled in, not terribly fresh. Doing anything?
Keep on trekking.
Okay.
We're not hunting doubles. That's not happening.
Yeah. No need.
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock comes around. It's starting to get dark.
Okay.
The wind is picking up and the snow is falling heavier. It's getting.
I
very,
grab
very
her
difficult.
wrist. Hold on a moment. Light on your wrapping, I guess, if you will.
And so as Heinrich's hand pulls away, already the
And
light
anytime it
spreads
fades,
out
I
and-
assume, unless we're in combat,
Sure.
it would just be like re-upping it for your vision.
Lasts for what, like 8 hours?
It's 1 hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you now a little bit better, a little easier to see. You can kind of hold your hand, wrap up, and get a little aura, almost like holding a lantern.
Yeah, whenever you need it.
Can I be checking if there's anyone following us too while we're doing
Make a
this?
perception check.
Okay. Just in all fairness, since I'm bringing up the rear.
Yeah.
Yeah, do your job.
Fuck, passive 14.
Do it better. I
You
don't.
try sneaking.
Every time you look back
Come talk
behind
to me.
you, your eyes begin to scan the horizon, and you just think of Chi. A cute little rat, easy eating, and you get a little distracted. And, but as far as you can tell,
That's
nobody's
true.
following you.
Probably in actually a pretty good mood despite the cold.
You get to
We're heading towards Karadok.
7 o'clock at
Probably
night.
gonna
It's
get
getting
from
like
Aura.
truly dark, and you're finding with the snow increasing, and it even for you getting a little chilly. You're
Is
getting
this
to a
the
point.
squall.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Is this remnants of it?
Oh, even the DM laughed at that.
Well, fuck me. I don't know. I'm just asking. It's saying it's getting colder even for you, and that's a tip off
I'm
for
pretty
me. That's all.
snuggly.
This is a blizzard. This is normal
All right.
for this time of year.
As
Right.
it's getting dark,
You just looked cold. That's all.
truly dark, you're aware suddenly, with a passive of 19 anyways, of this soft sort of feeling, and you realize that the texture changes beneath you. And some of the snow, a little bit shallower in places, is almost muddy. And in weird elements, you can see that there's like a pinkish cast to the snow that is wet. Not blood.
The springs?
Not the river.
No.
Oh, or the spring.
Would I have an idea or context for what it is?
Yeah, I mean, there are hot springs, and this looks like maybe mineral water.
Solid. Probably a decent enough place to camp.
It is getting dark, but it is quite cold.
Yeah. Do I see
Is
any
she the
sort
only
of?
one who sees the pink?
Yeah.
So you stop. I'm assuming.
I would
it's this?
stop
Yeah.
and kind of point it out.
Uh-huh.
It'll at least provide some heat for us while we rest.
Okay. Should we find the origin
It's nice
and
for travelers and everything too. It
Exactly.
might not be a bad place.
yeah? I mean, it may be known to all, and maybe therefore a little dangerous just because it's known, but
Not any
Safer.
more dangerous than
well,
being
more
out
well
here.
traveled at
Being
least.
blizzard.
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
can also make another snow fort as long as someone doesn't destroy it.
I'll leave the next
I'll
one to
make
you.
other, and I'll make snow people and not destroy them.
Okay, let's at least see if we can find this path. And was it well enough described that I could help find it?
Sure. I would say without even making a roll, I mean, you're following a
Right.
trail of water.
Right.
And it's very easy. You look for areas where there is faint bits, even in the darkness as you hold your lit wraps out. You can see bits of steam rising in certain areas, and without too much trouble, you wind your way about 5 minutes off the road, and you can see lumps in the snow that are a little bit weirdly shaped, and as you draw close, you recognize that there are benches. And around this outcrop of boulders, there is now steam rising up, and it's dark and hard to see, but you can now feel that there is humidity in the air. And you can smell very like hot, minerally kind of smell. And as you kind of peer past, you can see beyond these boulders covered in snow, there are these large, expansive, sort of pink pools of water. Not so darkly pink that you can't see, but you can see there are like, pebbles and things, like a rock stream almost beneath it. There are elements of rock that do rise out almost gracefully, very easy to find a place to sit. The entirety of this spring, maybe like 50 feet across at its widest point, but not a terribly uniformly shaped.
It's one large spring though.
It's one large spring, but there are areas almost like grottos where there's like stones that kind of create private spaces, and it's fairly expansive. You can see now there are like really, really worn stone benches that are just beneath the water in places that have been either carved out of rock or like placed underneath to be sat upon. But currently, you don't see any tracks. It doesn't look as if anybody's been here, at least since the snow has begun falling.
Is this also just like a landmark, or is there someone like, like monitoring this,
It's
like a vacation
as
place?
far
I
as you
don't
can
know.
tell, it seems like a place where enough people travel by here, where over time travelers have erected benches and little things. It doesn't seem owned by anybody.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Look to
Then
I'm
Yeah.
controlling water to make like a little fort that sort
There are
of
very
builds
few
around
places in the wild north that are owned.
Make a performance check.
There are very few places in
because
the
it
wild
might
north
melt
that are
while we're
owned.
sleeping. Well, while you're sleeping, I'll be awake.
I got better at it. Yay! 18.
So Gunter, you find
You still
this
don't
one
guys,
area
I know,
of like out cropped. It's like a little area, almost like a hot tub sized portion that goes out, and there's like about a foot up, and then stone, and then there's like a stone wall that goes out, and it forms almost this natural like cave without a roof. And so you use the snow to kind of close that in and form this large. And so there's an interior, almost like a hot tub style.
Right.
thing
No
that's-
need for a
that's
fire.
underneath.
All right,
Which is
now
nice.
Correct.
I'm jumping in. I'm taking off all my
Oh
clothes.
my god, that's
Getting
what
in the
I was
buff.
gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going in the buff too.
Michael
Cannonballing.
Gunter dives in.
Hell
Morwen
yeah.
dives in as well. Just these big splashes, and as the water hits the snow instantly like melts around where the water hits, and then freezes over as well.
I'm kind of like,
I
You know
do
what?
wanna say
This
though.
looks
Need
kinda
to use
nice, I'm
control
sorry.
Water to like play with the water in the tub.
So you watch as Gunter burns.
makes a little bit of a
second
Las
level
Vegas
sky.
like Las Vegas water show kind of shit.
Gunter holds these little things of water and they spurt up and swirl around and do all
I
kinds
turn
of
to him and I go,
I'm
hey,
batting at them.
hey, I can do that too, and I use the decanter of endless water to cast the one that just shoots like, what is it? What's the fucking ranking of it? I think it's like 2 gallons. There's like different rankings of it.
Stream?
Yeah, stream. 1 gallon of water, just like right at his face.
I'm gonna deflect it back at him and then up along the wall that I just made and like make it just ice.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
And I was going to try and start a splash fight, but
Okay.
seeing how they're fighting,
Whoa.
I decide not
You
to.
might get
Yeah.
stabbed.
You see like Heinrich does the first
about to
splash
be
and you
like,
see Gunter's face change and you're like,
It's not even a splash. It's just like I just go,
beside
ha, yeah,
the
nice, and then
face
boom.
what'd you roll?
6.
6?
Yeah, no, that's
You see Gunter go, ha, and just splat right in the face. It goes all around, like through his fingers and gets entirely in different color. And so as it hits the water, it kind of like displaces the pink a little bit. And there's like these clear, almost like ink, like dripping. And then it kind of blends back together.
Back.
I'm gonna also just like same thing, get in.
Yeah, sure.
Like
so you
enjoy
guys now,
the
three of
warm.
you within this very warm, like strangely buoyant water, almost like salty
flats,
in
yeah,
terms of
yeah.
how it is, but it's incredibly relaxing. And after having been in the snow, and the last time that you guys could really remember having
Shay,
like,
it's
a
comfortable. You
full
should get
bath-
in. It's so comfy.
Yeah, she doesn't like water, remember? She's
I'm
like
good,
a...
thanks.
I spelled this wrong,
Not a
but there
water.
you go.
Yeah. Sorry.
but as you
sorry.
guys-
Sorry.
She,
Not a lot of water.
Not a lot of water.
Like a stealth check.
Okay.
Are you trying to grab someone's butt?
No, ew, you're so perverted. That's a 25.
25, okay.
Jesus.
So, you
She's
do that.
stealing shit from my bag again?
You don't see Morwen go anywhere.
Fucking hate you.
And I would venture so far as to say, like, mindful of the fact that Morwen has done that before, you keep an eye on her. She doesn't go anywhere. I mean, she like goes around the water and stuff, but she doesn't
Oh,
leave
so
your
she
sight.
just farted really well. Stealthily.
So, not getting in the water?
No.
Okay. You watch, and it does look like some element of fun. It's certainly relaxing looking.
Sure.
But you keep yourself separate.
I have my reasons.
At this point, probably getting close to like 8 o'clock at night, you guys have been working real hard. Traveling through the snow is difficult.
I'm enjoying the relaxing for sure.
And so, is there anything that you guys want to do before settling down for the night?
I mean,
Well, how long have you been chilling in there?
Do you?
I'm
gonna-
going
what
to use
time is it?
control water.
Like
to,
how long? Like
8 o'clock.
Shoot
Oh,
myself.
so we're not like
up
exhausted.
a
I mean, we're
little
probably
bit.
tired, but
You're
not
tired,
near
but not.
exhaustion,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you have a couple
Tell
hours.
him.
Oh,
That
no,
sounds
play in
fun.
there for at least like 2 hours.
Yeah, you take 2 hours,
wanna-
and when you come out, like the skin underneath your fur is all pruny.
Gunter's is good.
and- oh no.
I'm using control water to shoot myself up and then like come back down into a cannonball, and then like shoot myself up again, and then just keep doing that.
I'm gonna.
So you're just cycling yourself.
So
in and
you're
out of
It's
the
just
Ferris
water.
wheel
Gunter
of
holding this
yourself.
position of going.
In a little cannonball, being like,
It's like,
Are you up and down ducking yourself, or are you cycling?
like cycling,
Okay,
like
okay.
up,
I jumped through them.
kind of like little like dolphin
So-
jumps, but just in a circle.
As Gunter is doing his dolphin
And,
jump, Morwen
like,
will just dive
crunched up
through.
his-
Yeah, and then also I'm gonna because it's hot, so I'm gonna get out and be like, and then for the thrill of it, I'm gonna jump through the weird hole he's making
Yeah, it's basically
into the snow and
I'm
then jump
shooting
back in.
myself up basically with like a little hand that then I cannonball off of, and then like come back.
Okay, I see exactly what you're saying.
yeah.
So the water lifts you up, and you jump off. And
I
as
don't
you
really
jump off,
I stay
as
in
you-
the
as
ball
you
the
kinda
whole
just-
time.
as
The
you-
hand just kind of goes
Yeah.
Yeah.
slam dunk.
Sort of like,
as it drops you into the water, Morwen gracefully leaps through and poof, into the snow. You splash into the water and emerge right as Morwen like comes leaping out of the snow, covered just like a white cat, and plunges back through the hole that you're making as you go up, and then back into this hot tub. You watch it.
Exquisite.
I'm just laughing, watching it, being like, all right, I feel better about everyone now.
And after,
Slightly.
you know,
Yeah, fine.
there is a little tension. There was a little tension in the trip up to the Lorebinders Academy, and with Gunter in a public place, always tension.
Yeah.
But you guys now out of civilization and back out in the wild and on the road and actually on a path to somewhere. It is nice having a goal in mind and having a little bit of peace. And because it is very peaceful and it is 12:15, this is a great place to end for the evening.
Oh, shit.
Without any combat again.
Yeah.
But thank you guys very much for everybody who tuned in and
who's
stayed
still
tuned.
here.
Yeah, a lot
Thank
of
you.
people still here, which is awesome. Big thank you to Talon and Fat Boy and there was one other person I want to say thank you to.
New subscriber?
Yeah, the
as
person
well?
the person that subscribed to us before, which is Asumiwa. And for Talon for giving us the bits. It's always super helpful. Next week, we'll be having a one-shot of some kind. Not 100% sure what that is yet, but I believe it's going to be a Morwen-themed one-shot. Miles will not be with us. There may be a guest player. I'll have to figure that out. But tune in next week for that one-shot. And the week after that, we'll be having a giveaway of Dicey Encounters dice. You can choose whatever dice you want. He is closed for commissions and for any kind of dice making for a long time. I think until March.
He's doing well.
So this is the
Good for
only
him.
chance that you will have
There's
to
sweet
get his dice anytime in the near future.
Yeah.
So definitely make sure that you tune in for that. But until next week, we're all set. So we'll see you then.
Thank you, bye.
Take care.
Just so you know, I peed in the pool.
that was what it was.
Good night.